Do like opening night spotlights
over the AMC logo.
AMC
I just want
logo.
the regular AMC logo on your chest, but you get movies for life and all the concessions you want.
Yeah, all concessions, popcorn.
He's thinking
dollar bill size.
Yeah, dollar bill Lawson or just a normal dollar bill?
Dollar bill.
Dollar bill size? No, that's a little too big.
All right. Wow.
Hey, it is buying season always. Our friends at Mortgage right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. 205-900-7200 NMLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
One of the more surprising moments of the show. Thought that was going to be an easy yes.
I did too.
Yeah.
That was an easy yes out of Tyler.
Because he gets 0 for some of his other tattoos.
Well, I know.
But you'd step it up, like if we were to give you a Honda Accord, and you get a new one every 3 years, but you got to have a big Honda tattoo on you. Would you do it?
Dollar bill size again. We'll go dollar bill on all these.
All right, that's a little more reasonable.
Okay.
Not having to ever have a car payment again is different.
All right,
from
and a new ride every 3 years.
$40.
Okay.
And the Honda logo is probably better looking.
I never
Probably
said
could do something with that. It could be a little bit edgier.
Would get a tattoo, but I remember when I used to drive the Ram trucks all the time, they did those fake tattoos down at the beach, and Jack had the Ram on his bicep.
Yeah.
I would get one of those if I got a new Ram truck every 4,500
Ram
miles.
on your bicep?
I guess. Why not? I'm with Tyler. That's a big expense.
Yeah.
It is.
And new car every 3 years. Let's don't overlook that. Basically, you got a lease for life.
That's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow on the live version of this at 9 a.m. Central every day, 9 to 12. If you're new to the show, if you're watching us on replays, as always, live or replay, thumbs up, like and subscribe, comment, not American, but on Apple and Spotify podcasts as well. Don't forget the other shows like Bama and Bourbon that's available on our platform and all the great stuff we have on all the social platforms at Next Round Live. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
We finish the show with Stone.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Here we go now, a live show on a Friday, getting ready for a big SEC basketball weekend, especially down at Auburn, where they play host to College Game Day tomorrow. We'll get to college basketball coming up. It's Championship Sunday in the NFL. We'll talk about all of those games as well. I was on with Dusty and Danny this morning, Sirius XM radio, on the drive in, and they were amazed that Auburn and Alabama basketball is where it is. And they asked the question, you guys have always seemed like such a football-centric show. How are you handling basketball? And I said, funny you should say that. Lance Taylor wants to talk football, basketball schools in the SEC today, that some are now considered to be basketball schools, not just named Kentucky. At least that's the feeling I get from you.
Well, I mean,
you brought up this topic yesterday. You said, let's talk about this, and let's do it tomorrow. So football, basketball schools, let's jump into this. I have a feeling where you're going to go with this.
Well, I mean, you know, I guess the obvious example would be Auburn. Auburn is a basketball school now. I know that sounds weird, but you guys would agree, right?
I think this is going to be a difficult conversation because all it would take is one really good football season maybe to flip that around. But I find that in general, Auburn fans are more passionate currently about their basketball program than their football program, simply because it's by far and away the most successful of the two right now. But again,
we love a winner, man.
We do love a winner. One really good football season would flip that around.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, you've got to have some consistency to be considered one of the, top 25 programs in college football.
Okay, as you jump into this, how do I not find it insulting, though, if you call me a basketball school, or how if I'm an Alabama basketball fan, how is it not insulting if you call me a football school? You know what I'm saying? How do we jump into this that it's
well, I mean,
not,
the fact of the matter is Alabama's been to one Final Four in their history.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of momentum when it comes to basketball right now, but I would still consider, based on what Nick Saban did, I mean, we won't use the example Alabama and Auburn on all of this, but I mean, the fact of the matter is Auburn has had 6 double-digit win seasons over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Alabama had, 16 straight?
I will say this, that if all of a sudden something went terribly wrong with basketball the rest of the year, I think it would hit the Auburn fan base a lot more than what has gone horribly wrong in football the last 4 or 5 years. To your point, they've sort of gotten used to where the football program has been. And not that it's a dull pain, but it's not the same pain as if all of a sudden this team loses to Tennessee and then it drops one game next week and then 2 games the next week, and all of a sudden they're a 3 seed or a 4 seed and they go 1 and out again in the tournament. I think that would hurt the fan base more than if they lose 5 games in football next year.
Yeah, but I think the expectation is, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Auburn is the best team in college basketball. The expectation is to get back to their second Final Four and to win a national championship.
Yeah, there are people that will around the country that will say Auburn is the team to beat to win the national championship as we sit here right now.
Yeah, and facts are facts. Auburn hasn't had a winning football season in 4 years.
They have not. Again,
that is a complete embarrassment on where this program was.
There's no doubt it's an embarrassment to what Auburn football programs expect to be. Again, I would say, I mean, if Hugh Freeze caught fire and Auburn is deep in the college football playoffs, this would feel a whole lot different. I think what makes you a football school, and the fact that we are even having this discussion just further proves what Bruce Pearl has done here. I would say what makes you a football school is how much football success do you have to be to completely flip this discussion around, or have to completely flip this discussion. I would maintain 1 year. One good year, if Auburn won a national championship or played for a national championship, you would be like, okay, football school.
Well, this might be a bad example, but Indiana had one incredible year in football. The basketball hasn't been great, but they are still a basketball school.
It is trending to be missed the NCAA tournament horrific this year in basketball. And football was actually in the college football playoffs. So,
but you guys will give me. I mean, it's still Indiana is a basketball school.
It is.
Because you had a one-off in football, and maybe Cincinnati gets this thing going in the right direction again. Fernando Mendoza, I think he's got a better quarterback coming in this year. So, maybe they've got momentum, and maybe, they'll be around. I just don't see them winning 11 games again.
It's just they're Indiana's. They haven't been good in a while. They haven't been a blue blood in a while, but they are a traditional blue blood like program. So they will always be a basketball school to me. North Carolina will always be a basketball school to me.
But Indiana,
they got freaking Bill Belichick as the coach, and it's still a basketball school.
Indiana, we're a couple of decades away from like this being Army football, though. I mean, Indiana basketball does need to do something, right?
They do need to do something, yes.
Because I don't know when it was. I was, and I've been doing this for 25 years now, and I never was like, Army is one of the blue bloods of football.
Yeah.
Indiana did get there with Mike Davis. Was it a national championship game or just a Final Four?
It was national championship.
Yeah, but that was such a one-off post Bobby Knight. So let's jump through the SEC. So obviously you're going to go Alabama football school.
Alabama football school, yes. I mean, I don't even think it's close right now. I mean, obviously Nate's done a great job with the program.
Now somewhere in that mybookie.ag chat, I'm sure there's somebody that has already called everything school, both either as an Alabama
came up very early,
as an Alabama fan or an Auburn fan.
Well, let me say this real quick, Brown, before you get to that. I do think that there are some that you're like, I don't know, like it's not definitive if it's basketball or football.
Yeah.
But I think Alabama is definitive.
But right now at Alabama, Brownie, I would tell you, okay, football is coming off of a down year, but they're coming off 17 years of greatness. The basketball program is they're not where Auburn is right now in the national rankings, but they're up there, number 4 in the country, and they're in one line. So basketball is pretty good coming off of Final Four. Women's basketball is a top 25 team right now. Clay tells me every week, softball school. I mean, if you're going to everything school, Alabama is the everything school right now.
Yeah.
What was it, the Sears Trophy?
I know it's a great Bruce Pearl quote, but Alabama is the everything school
Isn't
right
it
now.
the Sears Trophy, though, where you have like the compilation?
I don't know.
It was like Stanford or Florida won
every year. Stanford never won anything meaningful, but they always won that trophy.
It's probably the Capital One Cup now or something like that.
Yeah,
they got a
probably
sponsorship
so.
on it. Sears doesn't exist anymore, I don't believe.
So were you going to give us a point?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
No, okay.
Blake says what's crazy is Alabama's got the second most conference wins all time, only behind Kentucky. Gets mentioned a lot. Lamb, I believer, the football school in this state has made the second weekend of the NCAA basketball tournament 3 times in the last 10 years. Basketball school in this state has only made it second weekend one time. We mentioned that a lot. That is Bruce Pearl's Achilles heel. Outside of the Final Four, they have had difficulty advancing in the NCAA tournament.
Well,
I mean, you cannot deny that.
I am not detracting away from what Nate Oates has done. Like, if you flip this around, if it was Nate Oates at Auburn right now, Auburn would be a basketball school. You see what I'm saying? Like, it takes nothing away from what Nate has done. It's just Nick Saban did so much on the football side.
No, I understand what you're saying.
So Auburn, I classify them as a basketball school right now. That doesn't mean Alabama's not. It just means the football's higher than the basketball.
Okay, so here's the tougher one. And I believe it to be a football school. But where do you put Florida?
Florida's interesting because their last conference championship in football was 17 years ago. Now, it's not like the basketball.
Wow, is it really?
It does not seem that long ago, 17 years.
They've had 6 different head coaches over the last 20 years. 5 straight years, no double-digit win seasons for the Florida Gators. And, as quick as they wanted to push Dan Mullen out, and I know, are you the guy that shits on Dan Mullen? You are.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, he's the last guy to win double-digit seasons back-to-back years for Florida.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have got rid of Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen as much wanted to leave that program, I believe, as they wanted him out.
Maybe. But I'm just saying, that was a much better option than they've had around Dan Mullen. But with that said, I would still consider Florida a football school because I don't think basketball's been great.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is they're a nothing school right now, and that's the ultimate problem. It's why Billy Napier is entering the year on the hot seat and has spent most of his time on the hot seat.
He's on the hot seat again?
Billy Napier, his whole life is on the hot seat.
He coached himself off of it last year.
By going 6-6?
But all these way too earlys, everybody, because of Lagway and because of the momentum at the end of the season, everybody's got him in the top 15.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't live up to expectations, and correct me if I'm wrong, they got a really difficult schedule again.
Yeah, but seems like they always do.
It is actually the job I took for my little upstart. I'm coaching the Florida Gators now, EA Sports.
So you fired Billy Napier.
Yeah,
you're scoffing us for saying he's on the hot seat.
I didn't fire him. I just replaced him.
Yeah.
And
where did you come from?
I came from Texas State.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, how controversial is that? We're hiring the Texas State coach.
By the way, I left a really good recruiting class. It's number 25 right now in
At
the
Texas
rankings in the
State?
AP poll, and
Oil money.
and I'm fighting to get Florida. Some others considering.
You question me on how I watch all these movies. You've got Silo, Emily in Paris. You're building dynasties. You play golf.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, Tyler and Melton went to a 4-hour movie with an intermission.
And
last
I got
night.
a great review from it. Did The Brutalist live up to your expectation?
So I really enjoyed the first half more than the second half. I think it's really well shot, well acted.
I told him I thought it was his stamina that he needs to be in better movie shape if he enjoyed the first half of a 4-hour movie, but didn't really enjoy the second half.
That is old school because we were in the car yesterday, and I texted Melton because I was wondering if The Brutalist, because it was limited release a long time ago, and I was just wondering if it was streaming yet. And he was like, as a matter of fact, it just debuted in Birmingham or just premiered. We're going to the 6 o'clock. It's a 4-hour film with an intermission. I told Brown that, and Brown was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, what kind of money would it take for you to go?
I don't know how much you'd have to pay me to go watch this. A 4-hour movie? How long is the intermission?
15 minutes.
Do they flash the lights when it's time to go back? Like
it's built into the movie, so something happens, and then it'll show the title card of the movie with a 15-minute timer, and the lights
there's
come
a timer
up.
on the screen?
I
Okay.
have only
15 minutes is not enough for me to go to the bathroom, get popcorn and another soda, and get back. That's not enough time.
Anybody
I
that's
barely
gone
made
to
it.
see a Broadway production, you get the intermissions. But the last time, I mean, have you guys ever been to a movie? I went to the Alabama Theater when I was really, really little, and I went and saw Gone with the Wind. It's the only time I've ever been to a film with an intermission.
I've never been to one. I've never seen Going to the Wind start to finish. Going with the Wind start to finish.
Good movie.
The Gandhi movie with Ben Kingsley has intermissions, but I saw that in school, so that doesn't really count.
I remember that movie. Is that any good?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good for something I watched in school anyway.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks of not really doing anything but watching a movie.
That's it. That's always fun.
Jack, he always sends me a text when he gets to school, and he's like, guess what we're watching in first period? What movie? And I was like, I don't know, The Departed. And he was like, no, we're actually watching The Social Network. Is that like a sign that the teacher might be hungover if you throw on The Social
Let's
Network?
see. How can I connect this movie with what we're talking about?
How can I take a break?
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
I do want to see The Brutalist, but I don't know where we got to on the.
We've done 3 schools. Auburn, you've labeled a basketball school. Alabama football school.
You guys
and Florida
just
is
do y'all
too bad to
agree
call.
with me on Auburn?
I think it is
yeah, I mean,
this
it's-
moment in time, but
Yeah.
it's only because football sucks.
Right. That's
the
it.
minute football turns it around, it's back to being a football school. And then, you're like, oh my gosh, we got football and basketball good.
But see, I
Which
think
apparently is
Auburn.
really hard to
I
do.
think Auburn and Alabama are easy. It gets difficult with some of these, but I think Alabama is clear-cut football. Auburn is clear-cut basketball right now.
Where's the difficult ones?
I don't think it's as clear cut on the basketball at Alabama as we make it out to be because of the success. You can't have success and not have a passion for it.
No, but I'm just
for the
saying if you
fan
have
base.
to choose one or the other. I mean, the great thing is,
But
you don't have to. But I'm just saying for this exercise alone.
My point being, though, that if Alabama football was kicking off on a 6 o'clock weekday night, it would not be a late arriving crowd. We would rearrange our schedule and be there.
I actually thought of that.
We would be tailgating.
Yeah.
We'd be tailgating at 12 noon on a workday Tuesday, and we wouldn't be bitching and moaning about a 6 o'clock
basketball.
Tuesday night.
It's so hard to
Yeah.
get there from work
When
in
the
Birmingham.
game came on Tuesday night,
Yeah.
and I saw half the seats empty, I thought of you boy, Alabama fans cannot be pleased with a tip time. 8's too late, 6 is too early, and it was Tuesday night. And I literally thought, well, I bet you if that was Vanderbilt, Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium, 6 o'clock Tuesday night.
It could be South
Hey,
Florida,
shoulder to
it could be
shoulder.
Western Kentucky.
And let me show some love for the program. If this was so, I think Auburn's clear cut. I think Alabama's clear cut. You asked me about Florida. I don't know where you guys on that. I would say football. But if Nate Oates, if this was going on in Gainesville, I would say Florida's a basketball school.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can circle back to Nate on some of these examples, and I'm not taking anything away from what he's done. He's done an incredible job there.
Okay, let's go to you guys first. Texas, Oklahoma.
Texas is definitely a football school.
Texas definitely football.
Oklahoma's football.
Oklahoma's football.
but basketball hasn't really
Yeah,
done anything.
I mean,
they're in
It's a
the,
softball dynasty, but it's football.
they're in the Florida basketball.
And Oklahoma, much like in football, so much more success in Texas in the Big 12.
Yep.
Same in basketball.
Yep.
I mean, Texas basketball is baffling to me.
Yep.
Texas, everything's baffling to me. We make it out like it's the best athletic program, and they never win anything of consequence.
Well, I mean, you hear, we talk to collectives all the time, and you hear that it's Ohio State, Texas, and everyone else.
yeah, but Texas has what to show for that? In any of their major sports. I mean, what's the last meaningful thing they've won in football?
They've been to the Final Four 2 back-to-back years in football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, that should not be a high bar,
Congrats, you've made the playoffs. I mean, that is – I expect more if you're going to be the greatest program out there.
Okay, expansion before that was Texas A&M and Missouri.
I mean, Texas A&M, they haven't won a conference. When do you guys think the last time they won a conference championship in football?
They don't ever win anything in football. Their last conference championship in football was that upset over
K-State.
K-State. Who was the running back that ran down the sideline?
26 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was the Mike Sherman team, though.
Yeah.
But it's been 26 years. They've only had 2 double-digit win seasons over the last 30 years in football.
Yeah, they don't do anything in football. A&M is a non-factor.
But they don't do anything in basketball.
Yeah. Good basketball team, but I agree with you.
So I don't know. I guess I would say football just because of the passion.
They're a
perfect
Buzz Williams team. They feel like a bubble team every year. Like Buzz has lived more of his life on the bubble.
Actually,
than
they're
anybody.
baseball. They're a baseball school.
I guess.
Yeah. Missouri.
It's weird.
I thought they were going to be basketball when they came to the league.
I still consider them that, but I think they've probably been better in football.
They've been much better in football. I mean, back-to-back double-digit wins under Eli Drinkwitz. Say what you want about that guy.
Twice played in Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, Missouri football has been a surprise since they entered the SEC back in 2012.
I agree.
They don't meter. They don't move my meter. They don't move my little stick on the meter there for me in football or basketball.
Yeah, but if you had to go one of the two, you would go. I mean, I agree. I mean, it's blah on both, just like A&M.
They're a Dave Neal game for me, football or basketball.
Dave Neal.
So you can't pick one of the other?
I can't. That's just a. Yeah.
I think it's kind of easy football right now, don't you?
Missouri?
Yeah.
I mean, they're better in football, but Missouri's a nothing school to me. I barely pay attention to Missouri.
Before that, in expansion, South Carolina and Arkansas.
South Carolina's a women's basketball school.
Yeah.
Today, 4 o'clock, by the way, unbeaten number 5 LSU against one loss only to number 1 dominant UCLA, South Carolina, in Columbia. 4 o'clock, main ESPN
4
today.
o'clock on a Friday? Why are they playing
boy,
at 4
this shows
o'clock?
you the popularity of women's
That's
basketball.
your top 2 teams in the nation, and they're having to play at 4 in the afternoon.
On a Friday.
On a
Five versus
When
2.
people are sitting in traffic or at a bar having a cocktail.
Number 4, 4 o'clock ESPN, number 5 versus number 2.
Yeah.
I promise you there will be a fight in this game.
Oh, I'm sure there will. Maybe between the coaches.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey and Dawn Staley.
Yeah.
Both making $4 million a year, by the way.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's big numbers.
They're both making $4 million.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we say this all the time, but do you remember the outcry to Nick freaking Saban making $4 million? This is the end of college athletics, guys. Where are we going in this sport when a coach can make $4 million a year?
Look, if anybody is deserving to make that kind of money in women's basketball, I mean, those two are right there in that realm. But what kind of money do women's basketball programs generate?
They actually probably, well, not probably.
Break even?
They make their money at South Carolina and LSU. They're both well attended.
But I mean, the reason I bring that up is because we've buried this top 5 matchup on a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you got some stuff happening tonight.
What?
Oh, you got Michigan and Purdue, 21 versus 11, 7 o'clock on Fox, in men's basketball. So South Carolina football, basketball.
I mean, in the moment,
neither.
Yeah, it's
but
neither.
It's football.
Yeah.
Arkansas. You got a good history in both.
Yeah, I would
it's
still
really a nothing right now.
Yeah, but just based on history, I think you've got to go basketball. And when Calipari got hired, and it wasn't a great start, 0-5 to start the season, but I still think you would consider them a basketball school.
Some of it too, I look at where his historically and relation to other sports on their level, where's their facility investment? And Bud Walton Arena was a much better basketball facility than their football stadium has been. Now, their football stadium has played catch-up.
Yeah, since 1992.
But Bud Walton Arena was, when it was built, state-of-the-art. And I think that really tells you all you need to know, right? When your football stadium is a glorified high school stadium, but you build a basketball palace, probably answers your question.
Well, and I think it shows you the expectation for basketball, too. I mean, Musselman got, to back-to-back Elite Eights? And we still don't really consider Arkansas doing anything of late.
And was dying to get out.
It's kind of like UCLA. Like, you would consider UCLA a basketball school, but they haven't done anything.
In a long time. Kentucky's basketball.
Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Vandy.
Well, I mean, Clark Lee's trying to change it, but historically I've thought of them as a basketball school.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard
baseball.
to think.
Truthfully, Vandy,
It's
baseball,
no
Arkansas,
doubt.
baseball, both of those. But where baseball's not a discussion. So more basketball for me at Vandy than football.
Yeah.
Georgia's obviously football.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's one of the clear-cut ones.
Yeah.
LSU is obviously football.
Obviously football.
Yep.
Clear-cut. And look, not a lot of success the last few years.
Now to the Mississippis.
Ole Miss is become clear-cut football.
It is.
Yeah,
I think Chris Spears trying to change that. That's a big hill to climb.
I mean, they're best coach on campus, not even close, as Chris Beard.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't take anything away from – and I know Ole Miss had this schedule and everything was opened up for a 14 playoff. You beat Kentucky, you're there. But 3 of the last 4 years, double-digit win seasons. Before that, 17 years between 10-win seasons. So Lane Kiffin does have that program buzzing.
Yeah, and Mississippi State is
neither.
Yeah, I mean, really good home atmospheres.
I mean, Christians.
Both of them.
I would say basketball right now.
I think they've got a better shot at being relevant in basketball right now than football. Yeah. You know, Jeff Lebby may turn that around, but I think you saw this year how deep of a hole that program is currently in relation to his peers, and you can't say the same about state basketball. I mean, Jans has made that into a good program.
That's everybody, right? I hit everybody?
I think he did.
What? You missed one.
Who?
Wait, I went around the map.
And it's actually kind of a difficult one.
Which one did he miss?
Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
you did miss Tennessee.
So you look at Tennessee right now, and I do think Josh Heupel's done a really good job with this program. I mean, 2 of the last 3 years you've had double-digit win seasons.
It's no way it's a basketball school, though. It's a football school.
I would say it's football.
Yeah.
But, you know, recently, over the last decade, basketball's had a lot more success.
The problem is Rick Barnes has struggled to get as deep in the tournament as people think he should. I mean,
Yeah, you guys, y'all were like, damn, on the Florida last. You know, the last time a conference championship was won by Tennessee in football?
A conference championship won by Tennessee?
Yeah.
Oh, God, was Phil Fulmer the coach?
Was it 99, the year they won the national championship? Or 98, the year they won the national championship?
27 years ago. Yeah.
So it's almost the same as
99. 98, yeah.
Yeah, 98,
yeah.
the T. Martin team.
Yeah, 27 years.
That was their last conference championship.
They haven't had back-to-back double-digit win seasons in football in 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, Auburn, I know it's been, almost 30, but for Tennessee, it's been 20.
So they played for it twice since then. One was the complete meltdown to Nick Saban and LSU that cost them a shot at the national championship, if you remember that. And then against Auburn in the 04 Auburn team, which wasn't a terrible game by
30-20 Auburn.
Something like that. I can't remember the exact score.
But Tennessee's also had 6 different coaches in 17 years.
Yeah.
So, I do think it still is football, but, success on court to field, I think over the last decade, you've had much more success in basketball.
Tennessee's at Auburn, and we'll hear from Bruce Pearl in just a second. If you can pull up cut number 4 for me, Tyler. But a friend of mine is a huge Tennessee fan that I play golf with, Van. Huge Tennessee fan. In fact, last time I played golf with him, he says, we got to stop talking so bad about Tennessee.
Is his club covers, are they Tennessee?
He's got Tennessee something in his bag. I don't remember if it's his head covers, but there's a Tennessee towel under it or something.
His driver cover.
Hell, he may have a block T orange tattoo for all I know, but he loves them that much. But he, you know what he says about Rick Barnes?
What?
He says, "Man, I love the winning, but it is a brutal product to watch."
Oh, it is.
It's tough.
He says, "I watch Auburn, I watch Alabama play, and it's so much fun." The Kentucky coach now, so much fun to watch them play basketball.
This is a great value example, but it was Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
you won more than you normally won, but God, I got to go watch the triple option every single week.
How about Gene Stallings at Alabama?
Yep.
Oh, that's a great example.
You're right.
Great example.
But like what
17-7, it's a win. But
what is Tennessee's best win in basketball this year?
I'd have to pull it up.
Tennessee's best win in basketball this year so far is...
I mean, they beat Louisville, Baylor, Illinois.
Louisville, by the way, right now.
Louisville, by the way, 8-1 in the ACC. You talk about a year-to-year turnaround. That is a year-to-year bump for Louisville, where they were last year, where they are now.
Yeah, I don't know what their best win is.
We
know what their worst loss is.
Yeah, it's Illinois. I mean, Illinois is, I think, 11th today in the KenPom.
Illinois lost again last night.
Yeah, they're still 11th in the KenPom.
To Maryland.
Yeah.
Now, that game's not going to get hurt a lot because the committee, and I don't know if the metrics will, but they were
one of their best players.
Their best player was out with an illness. 2 of their guys were coming off the illness, not 100%.
And Maryland's 22 in the KenPom. That's not a bad team.
But back to your point, Tennessee in their best win of the season, if we call it Illinois, you know what they shot in that game? They were 20 of 62. They shot 32% from the field in their best win. So that is the product you've got to watch. I mean, look, it does equate to a lot of wins, but it is tough to watch.
Tell us about Dr. B. We'll get to Bruce Pearl on with Coach K at another time. Dane Bradshaw is going to join us, speaking of Tennessee. Will join us to talk SEC basketball in the next segment. Dr. B right now wants to talk about your hair growing back.
Yeah, hey, look, if you are starting to thin out, it doesn't matter. People do it in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, wherever that is. Be preemptive. Go see our man, Dr. Beckett's team, best in the business for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and that staff today. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316 from the genetic testing, custom compounding, transdermal infusion, the AI hair analysis. They've just got different things. They will find out specifically what works for you. Men and women are ordering Hims and other products online. They don't even know if they work. Dr. B has been using these testings for over 3 years with amazing results. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you are losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and find out what will work. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
And our family-owned friend, Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City. When the unexpected happens, call Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, 542-3531. We're about to get into storm season around here. He has storm damage repairs, roof replacement, helps you with the insurance roofing claims. He is the best in the business, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He is Central Alabama's most trusted name in roofing. He's our friend. He's Greg from Pell City. Check him out on Facebook. He and his wife Andrea run the company. They've got kids on the crew. It's a family-owned business. It's been that way for over 20 years, and they are the best. 205-542-3531. That's Storm Restoration Roofing. By the way, locally in basketball last night, Jack State beat UTEP out in El Paso. Both those teams now 4-2 in Conference USA. North Alabama beat Lipscomb in a big ASUN game. North Alabama a winner in that one, so that's a big win. And then Bucky had Samford at Chattanooga in a national televised game last night, winning it 73-68. They're 6-1 in the SoCon. North Alabama, Samford, and Jack State will all have opportunities. They will be not favorites, but a good chance to win their conference tournaments to get 3 more teams from the state into the NCAA tournament. Really good run for them. We'll talk more basketball, SEC, with Dane Bradshaw. Coming up on the other side, this is The Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC with customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall, sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only meet all elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McCorder, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. Big SEC weekend, some rivalry games. Sort of a pseudo-rivalry in basketball, I believe, because of the Pearls' history in Knoxville. But we got a big one down on the Plains as well with College Game Day there, Tennessee and Auburn tomorrow.
Dane Bradshaw, SEC Network analyst. You'll see him at the Texas A&M game over the weekend. But obviously he knows Alabama and Auburn and Tennessee very well. What is up, Dane? How are you?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well. Great to talk with you again.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you coming back on. Let's start with that Tennessee-Auburn game, your alma mater there, and you know how personal that is. You know the Pearls well from your days in Knoxville, and it does take on a little bit of a different feel with Bruce Pearl going against a place he used to coach.
Yeah, I agree. I think I saw Coach Pearl's quotes. I think he said something to the effect of, look, I want to beat Tennessee because they're a team standing in our way, essentially, of an SEC title. They're a great program. It'd be a big quality win. But I think whether you're somebody that transferred away or you're a coach going against your former school, there's always a little bit of extra edge there. But, look, they're not going to prepare any differently, any harder. I do think a win against your former team always maybe has you open up an extra beer instead of just one or two maybe at the end of the night. That's just me.
So we have Stevens on the show every week with us, and I think you played. Was he not a teammate of yours?
He was. I believe he was a redshirt freshman or walking on with us my senior year.
Okay.
Yeah, and he would work out with us even my junior year. He was a senior at West High School there.
So, you know, the assumption is one day Stephen's going to have an opportunity to maybe be a head coach, you know, maybe take over this program. From what you know from Stephen, what do you think that looks like?
Really underrated coach. I'm not just saying that because I know the Pearl family extremely well, but I've seen him grow over the years. Extremely smart. Anybody that thinks he's just coach's son is an idiot, to be honest with you. I don't think there's too many out there that assume that anymore, but I've seen his scouts. I've seen how well he prepares. He was always extremely smart, too. I mean, he got into the rotation at Tennessee because of his knowledge of the game plan, the scouting report. He's grown up in the film room. And Coach Pearl adjusts, year to year, and he can, you talk about having a modern basketball approach. But they were doing some modernized stuff before that was even a term back in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Stephen grew up watching this. I mean, I still see them run plays for Johni Broome that maybe they ran for me, and that's why they're number one in the country as opposed to, unranked. But, so anyway, he's phenomenal, and he's got a great rapport with the players as well. And obviously had a front row seat there to Coach Pearl and all the X's and O's. I think just as a staff, and you always want, a lot of coaches talk about, hey, look, we we're best when we're not calling as many plays. They want a free-flowing offense, and I get that. But I've really enjoyed seeing Coach Pearl call so many plays because he's just a master at it. It's kind of like an offensive coordinator that just wants to let the quarterback call the coverages. But if the offensive coordinator is really good at it, then you might need to step in and call a few. And I think Pearl's had a tremendous balance there with Stephen's help.
I just came off seeing Vandy and Alabama play each other in Tuscaloosa. How did Vandy beat Tennessee? I mean, that team doesn't look talented enough, even on their home floor, to beat a Tennessee team with that backcourt. How is that possible? What goes wrong for Tennessee when they lose these games?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what's gone wrong with Tennessee on some of those games is Chaz Lanier, their best sharpshooter, his confidence has been wavering a little bit. Bad news for Auburn fans. I think he got that back the other night against Mississippi State. He's going to come around those picks ready to shoot the ball. He was a little bit in Rick Barnes' doghouse for passing up some shots, and I think that made him a little bit hesitant and just question certain reads and things like that. So that's been an issue, is where when Chaz Lanier is not their primary leading scorer, I think Zakai Ziegler has to take on too much of a scoring role at point guard. I think he's best as a 10-point, 7-assist guy. I don't think you want necessarily him scoring 18 points, 5 assists if you're Tennessee. Even if it adds up to the same total, it's not the same flow and rhythm that they have there. Secondly, I think Tennessee's, they don't have much depth at the 5 spot. They had a couple guys transfer out last year. They did bring some in, but they lost a big man, J.P. Estrella, earlier in this year to a foot injury for the season, and he was going to be their best low post scorer. They still find ways to get alley-oop dunks to a guy named Felix Okpara, and Cade Phillips is a tough kid that comes in as well. But this is not a Tennessee team that's just going to out-muscle you down low in the post. And I thought Vanderbilt actually brought some physicality to them down low. So the way y'all's bigs have stepped up with Johni Broome's absence, I think this is a game where you sit there and say, I think they can hold their own. I don't know if they're going to win that matchup necessarily, but it's not one where you say, oh boy, this is the game that we really missed Johni Broome. As great as he is, I just don't think that's Tennessee's strength down low.
Dane Bradshaw is with us, SEC Network. Alabama plays host to LSU. The Crimson Tide has scored 100-plus in back-to-back games at Kentucky and at home against that Vanderbilt team you were just discussing. They score in the 90s, it seems like, every week unless they're playing Ole Miss. What has Nate Oates done this year with that rotation that has impressed you? When you watch Alabama play, now I think you were on the Ole Miss game, so you caught a bad night there, but you've seen more than that. What have you seen with all that talent that Nate Oates has done that has impressed you?
Really, for him to score at such a high rate without a great shooting team. Like that, they are way better from 2 than they are 3, and they get into their motions and their sets so quickly and play with such great pace. They cut with great speed and with, as Coach Pearl used to always say, like, play with purpose. They play with purpose on every possession, whether that guy's getting the ball or not. He knows he's making a cut to open up the backside or whatever it is for his teammate. And they've just really got a well-oiled machine there. I will say, I think one thing Ole Miss did was they said, hey, look, you're better from 2 than 3. We're going to sag off a little bit. And Ole Miss has a unique style. They kind of do this no-middle defense and keep you on the sideline. But usually that opens up some skip passes and other things. I thought they just did a terrific job of packing it in the paint, having really active hands, and they flustered Alabama. And then, of course, the Tide corrected things. They went up to Kentucky, who's not as good defensively. But to me, if you got to pick your poison, it's, hey, we're not leaving Alabama just wide open from 3, but let's see if we can bait some of their guys that are shooting, in that 32% range or less and see how many threes they can take. Ordinarily, you'd say, look, if Alabama's getting over 50% of their shots from 3, we've done a bad job because they're so good. But I think this year, that's a stat you'd be okay with if you're an opposing coach and take your chances, even though 3's worth more than 2. I think if you can take away that drive and free throw line.
Dane, obviously, Mark Sears is one of the best guards in all of college basketball, and he's obviously the alpha of this team, kind of their closer. But if you ask 10 Alabama fans, who is that number 2 guy, like who needs to be the big compliment, you probably would get 4 or 5 different answers. If you were looking at this team, because I know we talked about this a couple of days ago, who we think the number 2 guy is that has got to be there night in, night out. But for you, who is it?
Grant Nelson. He's their glue guy. He's the reason to me, when he stepped up his game in the NCAA tournament, a huge primary reason why they got to the Final Four. They've had to put him in some tough spots, though. I think he's best as a 4. When they tend to get beat up a little bit, it's when Grant Nelson and Cliff Amore, they're a little bit light for 5 men. And it's not that their effort isn't there, but sometimes they're just giving up 20, 30 pounds down low, and they can get in foul trouble. And I think that is a guy in a matchup night in, because you saw him against Andrew Carr. It's like, hey, Andrew Carr at Kentucky, Grant Nelson in Alabama, as good as Carr is, you go into that game as an Alabama fan like, hey, you know what? I think we can be equal to or better right there. And that's not always the case depending on who the opponent is and the depth. And, I know y'all Auburn fans hate to hear it, but Holloway's been shooting lights out for Alabama, and they've really needed it because that injury to Latrell Wrightsell, he was over 40%. He was clearly their best three-point shooter. To me, he was the number 2 guy in the backcourt. And so to get some consistency there from beyond the arc, I think has been critical.
How big is this game for Texas, the one you're going to call a resume builder? I know they're going to be in that bubble area, in and out when we get to Selection Sunday. This seems like it could get things going really good for the Horns.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it's as big of an opportunity for Texas as it was for Vanderbilt when they beat Tennessee on the home court. Like, you get that marquee, quad 1 victory. It takes so much pressure off some of the other games because, look, they had a brutal first part of their schedule. I thought Texas was on their way to being 0-5, maybe 0-6. And it would be understandable, but they're 2-4. And I think when you looked at that schedule and Texas fans would look at that and say, hey, God, we're only 2-4 in conference play. Let me tell you, it's a pretty good 2-4. They got wins against Oklahoma. They got win against Missouri. And in a lot of ways, they haven't necessarily won a game maybe you don't expect them to win. They've been in the fight against A&M. They took Tennessee down to the wire. But now those are good wins. Now let's go get a great win. And this would be a great win and a rematch opportunity against Texas A&M. They played once earlier in the year. They kept A&M in check for the first half off the offensive glass. Second half, they got bullied. And see if they can play 40 strong minutes.
Calipari reminded us he's won 30 straight. We heard that twice.
Twice, yes.
They finally get their first conference win. When he took this job, people were like, oh, hell, if you get a really motivated Calipari, this could be trouble. Now Boogie Fland looks like he's out for the year. That's obviously a huge loss. Where do you see this Arkansas product going this year?
I know it's convenient of me to say, but I wasn't surprised that they beat Georgia because when a player goes down of that caliber, there's something about that first 1 or 2 games where everybody just steps up their game and you just rally behind that. Y'all seen it with Johni Broome out. Like, all of a sudden guys start playing out of their minds because of the increased opportunity. I don't know that that's sustainable. To me, one of the magic numbers for Arkansas is can they get to 7 league wins? Like, if you're 7-11 in the SEC, as ugly as it's been, that might be enough for Cal and Arkansas to make the NCAA tournament. But I can't stress enough as a player, and no matter how many people in Arkansas and everywhere else still criticizing their start to league play, and rightfully so, what matters is in that locker room. And I'm telling you right now, that one win, just the mood and the vibe in the training room and the weight room and the practice facility is so much more positive. And see if that can't lead to back-to-back wins for Arkansas and find a way. When it's all said and done, I think it's probably going to be a disappointing season for Arkansas, but the story's not over. And if they get into the NCAA tournament, maybe he can switch gears. He's been upset the past couple of years in March. Maybe he can play the role of upset.
Dane, is it too late for me to still get a good lot at River Gorge Ranch? Are you sold out yet?
You know what? Yeah, I've got the promo in the back. No, it's certainly not sold out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do a January special for you, but it ends at 12 o'clock today. So if you want to just buy one over the phone, we better hurry.
Is this the new Hamptons in New York, Alice Beach? Is River Gorge? Is that the direction we're going with this?
Appreciate you asking. Hey, you can save a lot of money by not buying down there, and you buy up here on the mountaintop, right outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Get you 1 or 2 acres, looking at the Tennessee River, low taxes, low HOA dues. Come on, man.
Just do something with that Chattanooga traffic.
Terrible traffic. For
Awful.
a town your
Yeah.
size, the traffic is outrageous.
Hey, look, when you're sitting on the mountaintop and you can look down and see the interstate backed up and you don't have to worry about a thing. You're just enjoying your cocktail looking at the river and sunset.
Damn, sold.
Yeah, I'll be right on the phone with you. All right, he is Dane Bradshaw. See him 1:30 Saturday, Texas A&M at Texas on ESPN2 is where you'll see that game. Always appreciate the time, Dane. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Dane Bradshaw with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. While I mention them, I will remind you that with the calendar flipping to 2025, that means Johnston RV Center's got to get the 2024s off the lot. Show season coming up, too, so they got to make space for all that. It's going to be great savings for you there at Johnston RV Center. How about right now you can get that Shasta, 16RE, just $149 a month with approved credit. The Avenger 29 QBS, that sleeps up to $279 a month with approved credit. They've got that lifetime warranty from RV Warranty Forever on all new and qualifying pre-owned right there at Johnston RV Center. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
All right, Michelson Laser Vision breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Pete Carroll is the new coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Crazy, man.
3-year contract. Here comes Pete Carroll, age 177 to come coach.
I mean, once you have a job in the
me some
NFL.
Pete Carroll.
Yep.
And look, at least he does have a. This is not Antonio Pierce interim tag ripped off. This is a coach. This is not Josh McDaniels getting retread. I mean, look, I know he's old, long in the tooth, 73 years old, I think, 74, maybe 73, 74. But we've always heard that he's a young 73, 74. So at least he brings the credibility of a winner into that atmosphere, which, I mean, you guys tell me the last time the Raiders were relevant.
Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. It'd be good if you could get him that way to see that uniform again, to be in the playoffs and that kind of thing. He sort of has that label of being a CEO type coach. He's not going to call the plays. He's not going to call the defenses anymore. He's going to put people in place and teach them how to do the job and to win.
But he is a defensive mastermind.
Yeah.
Like, I do agree. He is more about delegating now, and that's been kind of the case for the last few years at Seattle. And, you know, I think, I don't know the way he was described. Lazy is not the way to describe him.
Oh, not at all.
It's
energetic. He's the opposite of lazy.
More it seems lackadaisical, though. Like,
he's laid back.
Yeah, maybe that's a better way to put it.
Like, you remember in his time at USC how much fun he would have at practice with Will Ferrell and everybody coming out.
The best was Johnny Knoxville coming out.
And they would do spoofs. And,
returning punts, trying to return punts.
Yeah, and he'd have, you know, he was the first I would see to have the ice cream truck come up in the middle of practice and stuff.
Well, your key question here for Pete Carroll is his quarterback week one is?
Yeah, they're going to have to go find one.
Yeah, I think that they'll ultimately draft a quarterback. Now, is that going to be their starter week one? Aiden O'Connell, probably.
If I'm 77 and I'm having to draft quarterback, that is. But, you know, this was probably his only option. If he wants to coach, I don't think any of these other teams are going to hire him. Jacksonville hired Liam Cohen, so your OC is going to coach Trevor Lawrence. So you were down to, just New Orleans and Dallas. Looks like Dallas has zeroed in on Schottenheimer.
Liam Cohen basically went to that interview with Jacksonville. Walked out and says, I hate the guy doing the interview. I don't want the job. I'm going to go back to Tampa Bay.
I cannot believe Cohen.
The owner fired the GM. I said, okay, then I'll take it.
Back.
That shows you what joke ownership you've got in Jacksonville. Good luck with Liam Cohen.
The fact that, he's right. The fact he could dictate his own GM, that's crazy to me.
And by the way, the last time Liam Cohen, worked under Sean McVay, and I think that's one of the reasons, all these Sean McVay coaches are having a lot of success, was 22, and the Rams' offense was awful. Now, look, I know Stafford was out for a good part of that season, but you still had capable backups, and it was a terrible product. So good luck with that. I'm excited for Pete Carroll and the Raiders. Do the Raiders, when you talk about, you mentioned their uniforms, is that the best uniform that has become irrelevant?
Yep.
In all of sports?
The old silver and black.
I'm going to make a wild prediction right here, bold prediction right here. Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback week one. It hasn't been mentioned by anybody, anywhere. Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback week one.
Yeah, so you've got the combination of Pete Carroll and Aaron Rodgers. In football years, that's the equivalent of a wizard, right?
That's right.
So, it
Those
seems
guys play
good
with Otto Graham
on the surface, but if I'm a Raiders fan, I don't know if I would be excited about that. And that's the thing.
Would you rather have Sam Darnold?
I would rather have Sam Darnold.
Than Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
I would.
I mean, those aren't great choices, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm getting old Aaron Rodgers.
And we're really getting an unknown with Darnold.
Yeah, and Sam Darnold, who at the end of the year did not look great. But, I mean, the quarterbacks in that division, with Bo Nix playing the way he played, and then you got Herbert with the Chargers, who can't win in the postseason, but he's good in the regular season. And then, of course, you got Mahomes.
It's a good quarterback division.
That's a good quarterback division, and you're a distant fourth in that division right now.
Very much so. So Pete Carroll's the new coach there. That's our Michelson breaking news. Tell us about Michelson.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first in the state of Alabama to perform the LASIK procedure way back in 1995. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. I got the procedure done back in 2003. I've got the 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call today, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
The College Football Spotlight.
It's presented each day by McCurry Van and Car Rental. Rent from McCurry. They've got the vehicles that you need. Trucks, SUVs, passenger vans, easy to rent, in and out fast. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest, and Coleman, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
People are starting to call out. They don't call out specific schools, but they're starting to call out tampering, and that's what we have happening right now with Ohio State. Reports are Ohio State is working to retain their talent, but On3 Sports is reporting that Ohio State's Jeremiah Smith has a $4.5 million offer to enter the transfer portal. Now, fortunately, I have not seen a school named. And who has that offer? Have you? I have not. Just shake your head no or yes. Or you have
I am pulling up On3's reporting it, so I'll pull up and see if they name a school. I don't think they do.
Also, Carnell Tate is being offered more than $1 million to enter the portal.
I think Carnell Tate, believe it or not, could be a one with the majority, a good majority of schools. I think Carnell Tate is really, really underrated and underutilized in that offense.
Give me if you.
But I don't know if he's worth $1 million.
Well, I was going to ask. We would all agree that Jeremiah Smith's the best receiver in the country.
Yes.
Give me a school where if you paid this is a $9 million deal because he's got 2 more years of eligibility. So let's just say $9 or $10 million. That you felt like if I paid him that, it would lead to me winning a national championship.
Are you saying give an example of a player?
I'm saying give an example of a school that if Jeremiah Smith got $10 million for that school, you would say, I feel like that is the difference of me not winning a national championship and winning one.
Ohio State, where he's at right now.
Okay.
Texas.
So real quick now, you think if you drop Jeremiah Smith in at Texas, it's the difference in winning one and not winning one?
It gives me a better chance.
Yeah, I think Texas would be the obvious move now with Golden going on to the NFL, with Isaiah Bond going to the NFL. You know, if Arch Manning's going to be what everybody says Arch Manning's going to be, you get a dominant guy like Jeremiah Smith, and they're one of the few that can afford it. You know, I've heard, different collectives, that talk about certain programs would never pay $1 million for a player. I find it hard to believe certain programs wouldn't.
I wonder how long you can have that stance. Clearly, there are some that have paid $4.5 million if this report is true.
If this On3 Sport is true at $4.5 million, I mean, I'm not saying Ryan Williams is Smith, but you wouldn't be shocked if Ryan Williams got a $2.5 million offer.
If Carnell Tate as their third option through the air, really their fifth skill option last year for Chip Kelly, if he's getting $1 million offer, Ryan Williams at least doubling that.
Yeah. A lot of people think it's Texas, and that's the obvious one. But to answer my question, Jay says Oregon.
I don't know. Their quarterback is as big a coin flip as anybody.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, coming up after we talk to Fuhrman at the top of the hour at 10:30, we'll talk about On3 Sports top quarterbacks in 2025. It's a fascinating list.
Troy says Georgia has crap wide receivers. Look at him in that system.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put Branch with Jeremiah Smith,
that's pretty good 1-2 punch.
You got some pretty good weapons.
Chris
now
says,
who's going to get it to him?
That's right. Now I'm doing all that with Gunnar Stockton driving the car.
Gunnar Stockton's really good if I've got Branch and Jeremiah Smith. I mean, even if he's average.
I don't think Ohio State is going to let him go. This is what sucks about NIL. And look, I'm all about the athletes getting what they can get, but year in, year out, if you've got a guy, because it really should be about, it used to be about getting to the league and winning a championship.
Chris says Miami. Pair him up with Beck at Miami.
Now that would be a fascinating combination because I think Beck could get it to him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that old boy's out of federal prison now, right?
But you guys...
but does he have any money left? I don't know if he's got money left.
He's probably got it buried in the backyard.
Well, the issue was the guy that replaced him, that wallet guy, he's had some serious issues. The Life Wallet or whatever that cat's name was.
But it used to be about getting to the league, about winning a championship. I mean, Ohio State does both of those for you. Ohio State can pay a lot of money. It does suck that if you get all this money, you don't blame the kid for leaving. But, I mean, there is no loyalty to a program.
Yeah, that's why the contracts have to come. And you signed this 2-year deal. You're here with us 2 years.
And by the way, it doesn't always work out. You remember Pittsburgh and Kenny Pickett winning 11 games under Narduzzi 4 years ago, and winning the ACC championship. Jordan Addison was your Biletnikoff winner. USC, and that's when Narduzzi got so pissed off because USC paid him to come out west, and Addison was a non-factor, and now he is a great number 2 in Minnesota. Yeah. So just because you get paid and you go to another system doesn't, like, I find it hard to believe Jeremiah Smith. He seems like a can't-miss guy, but Addison seemed like that guy too.
Yep, and it was a nothing season for him at USC, and it just showed you it was the USC problem, not an Addison problem, because
and it was with Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah.
So there's no guarantee. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, you had teams. Texas took him out of play. You can neutralize one wide receiver. You got to have a fleet of them. They had other guys that hurt Texas, and Jeremiah Smith had his games. He's really good.
I think Ohio State might be able to do a GoFundMe with the other 15 SEC fan bases, just $1 a piece. Let's keep Jeremiah away from Austin. I think SEC fans might contribute because you don't want that guy going to Austin.
A little something on GoFundMe after Brownie tells us about McCurry again. They bring you that spotlight.
McCurryRentals.com. That's the place to start. McCurryRentals.com.
And our friends at Hemphill bring us the lock of the day, Lance'sLock.com. A lot of plays today. Apparently, maybe not one on the women's big game at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Lance,
one NBA play, 4 college basketball plays up and available. 2 and 3 last night, not great. We did have San Antonio playing over in Paris. 40-point win last night, or 30-point win.
Wasn't that also a 4 o'clock game?
It was actually 1 o'clock Central.
1 Central?
That was dictated by the Globe.
Well, sure.
Okay. Yes. 205-229-2090. Trust the name Birmingham's Trust since 1954. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues, help me out there. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. For more information, HemphillServices.com.
If your pipes are clogged like LT's, Hemphill can unclog them for you right there. Mark Andrews, much like Brownie just did that water bottle, dropped a pass last weekend that cost the Ravens a chance to keep playing. And he still feels bad about that. In true Buffalo Bill Mafia fashion, they started a GoFundMe account and quickly raised well over $100,000 that they donated to Mark Andrews' charity, which is T1D for type 1 diabetes research. And he says, I still feel devastated about the loss. I understand that it was done in good jest, but I thank the Bills fans for raising the money and donating it to a great cause, over $100,000 raised.
So this is personal to me, obviously. My wife's a type 1 diabetic, and you guys know how I feel about the Bills and their fans, but they do stuff like this a lot, and it's a really cool gesture by them. They did it when Tua got hurt in their game, and in the Dolphins game against the Bills earlier this year. They raised money for Tua's foundation. They made donations. It's something the Bills fans do that is really, really cool. And I think this is a classy move by them. Unfortunately, Mark Andrews, who has played a lot of really good football for Baltimore, has heard a lot of crap. But he released a statement yesterday saying, I've actually heard some good stuff too. So I want to focus on that, and I appreciate the donations to T1D.
Well, just a few weeks ago, we saw Eagles fan in the worst light. And we heard, I've heard, you see these videos of Bills Mafia, and you think this will be a really aggressive fan base. Most people say they're some of the nicest fans out there. Are. I saw the story. I didn't really pay attention to it of how Bills Mafia became. Did you guys see that over the weekend?
I have not seen that, no.
It was one guy that sent out a hashtag on some tweet, and it just caught fire.
Yeah,
but there was a backstory on that guy.
Bills Mafia there. Okay, Todd Fuhrman on the other side to talk about the 2 games coming up on championship weekend and some college basketball as well. All that is coming up on the show that's being brought to you today by our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us how they changed your home.
Well, they changed our home by changing our master bathroom, and that's what Brad Bell specializes in, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. When it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown house, my wife Jennifer jumped on the internet. She scoured that bad boy looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the one she picked after talking to multiple contractors, people that had used certain contractors, reading reviews. She picked Brad. I'm glad she did. He did tremendous work for us. His crews were professional. They were clean. They were in and out fast. At the end of the day, they let us know what they had done and made sure it met our specifications. Just could not ask for a better situation. You can see more at aplusbathandkitchen.com. That is aplusbathandkitchen.com. Now, I say he specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's not all he does, though, but it is where you'll make a lot of your money back when you go to sell your house. aplusbathandkitchen.com. Fuhrman with the numbers from the desert next.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round. presented by Bud Light, is on now.
A lot of college football to get to after we talk to Todd Fuhrman, but one NFL decision has been made, Brownie.
Alabama native and former Ole Miss running back and Ohio State running back Quinshon Judkins is headed to the NFL. I don't think anybody's stunned by that. Probably coming off the best game he's ever had in college football.
And I think we talked about him at the next level yesterday. I think he's going to be highly successful. I mean, just a big body guy. You saw some explosion, not the explosion of Travion Henderson, but you saw the 70-yard run the other night against Notre Dame. And this is a guy that just runs through people.
Yeah, angry.
The pride of Pike Road, Alabama, Quinshon Judkins. Let's go to the pride of the desert. He is Todd Fuhrman, bettheboardpodcast.com, at Todd Fuhrman on social media. What do you say, Fuhrman? How are you today?
Seamless segue there, Brownie. That's why you're the best in the business, my friend.
That's normally Dunaway's job.
No, you used to say that about me back in the day when we were friends.
Well, I mean, look, Dunaway, there's consummate professionals that you should pattern yourselves after, and there's forging your own path. I'm not sure which bucket you fall into, but eventually we'll get to the bottom of it.
Let's start.
Joey Logano, that's your free winner at the Daytona 500. Go ahead.
I don't bet the Daytona 500 any more than I bet Talladega, but I'm a little disappointed. Figured you'd have a winner for me in the Clash next weekend. When NASCAR returns to historic Bowman Gray Stadium for what should be about 30-degree weather for their usual season kickoff that got moved out of L.A. this season.
Oh, so it's moving out of L.A.? Where are they racing it?
Where's Bowman Gray?
Bowman Gray is in North Carolina. I won't claim to be a huge NASCAR historian, but I don't think the facilities there are quite up to snuff for what we've grown accustomed to in the past. But I know NASCAR has made a proactive approach to returning to its roots, and I think this is a step in that direction. I just hope that everyone checked the weather forecast, because that part of the country this time of year can be rather chilly, not just for the drivers, but for the fans in attendance as well.
So is that like North Wilkesboro or something like that? Or?
Yeah, very similar thought process there. North Wilkesboro was kind of taken out of commission, and NASCAR had to really do a lot of work to bring it back online. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was integral in making that happen. Bowman Gray has been used for some of the lower series, for ARCA, I believe, for ARCA East over the last handful of years. So the facility overall is in much better condition, just not typically something you'd associate with the Cup drivers coming back to that type of track.
Fuhrman, before we get into NFC, AFC Championship, I want to take it back to the divisional round. Injury to insult for me. I had Philadelphia minus the 6.5 against my Rams. A couple of missed extra points. Obviously, I was pulling for the win there. But how did that affect the books with that number landing on 6 last weekend?
Not the best result for them there, because you did have some professional money that came in at 6, and then those professionals looked to try and double down when that number got out to a full 7. Looking to try and take the Rams. That was a lot of public support for Philadelphia that helped push that number up on game day. So from speaking to guys around town, they wanted to do everything they could to avoid taking that to a full touchdown, but felt forced into that particular spot. And lo and behold, not just that game, but of course the way we saw Kansas City and Houston get bet from 8 up to 9.5, and you see that late safety that changes the dynamic and create a little bit of a middle there. But books won't complain too much about how last weekend went overall, LT. The big decision for them was getting the Commanders not just to cover as more than a touchdown dog, but of course win that game outright. That blew up a lot of moneyline parlays, teasers, and everything that had them tied into the Chiefs and Ohio State and Monday night in the national championship game.
Worst beat, the Chiefs taking the safety to kill the 9.5s, or Georgia refusing to block out on a free throw, killing anybody that had 2 on the putback?
Yeah, the Georgia beat for college basketball, albeit a lot less handle, probably a much tougher pill to swallow. I give very little sympathy, and maybe it makes me extremely cold-hearted for folks that are laying 9.5 a handful of minutes before kickoff in a Kansas City Chiefs-Houston Texans game that they knew had been on the board for the better part of 6+ days. You had ample opportunity to lay better numbers there, so those Georgia backers definitely get my thoughts and prayers, relatively speaking, akin to what we saw unfold with the East Carolina over-under last week as well.
Give me, in the Washington-Philadelphia game now, give me a Saquon Barkley rushing yard prop here, and do I go over or under that? It's got to be a tough number to put a number on.
I mean, Dunaway, this is going to be the biggest that I've seen for a running back over the last 5 years with Saquon Barkley. He actually opened up right around 128.5 is a number that I saw, and
wow.
some books actually trended up from where that price tag was hung. And to put things in perspective, last weekend at some prominent books, he closed right around 113.5 against the Rams. I thought that was an aggressive number, but I guess when you have a couple of explosive runs in your arsenal, it changes things. What I think is even more eye-popping in terms of Saquon Barkley's props this weekend, his over-under for longest rush in the game, 24.5 yards. To put things in perspective, Brian Robinson on the other side, his over-under for longest rush in the game started at 10.5, and it's actually been bet down. Saquon Barkley's number opened a bit shorter, has been bet up. So odds makers believe he will no doubt be the bell cow as he's been all season long. And I think the big question you have to ask is if you're the Commanders, can you play 8 guys in the box? You're going to make Jalen Hurts show that his mobility is there, but the last thing you want to do is have Saquon Barkley be the reason that you're not able to make history and punch your ticket to New Orleans.
For me, the easier team to pull for, Commanders over the Eagles, but I always pull for money. And to me, Philadelphia minus the 6. I know it's hard for a lot of people to play, but the public is all over Jaden Daniels and the Commanders.
You know, I've been amazed, LT, talking to folks that don't typically bet or even look at lines on a week-in, week-out basis, and the amount of folks that want to let some of their rooting interest this weekend get driven by narrative. And you're right. I mean, Jaden Daniels has no doubt been the story. People want to kind of see fresh blood in that regard. The problem for Jaden Daniels is that he's working against a decent amount of history, albeit a limited sample size. You know, favorites of 6+ points are 6-1 straight up and against the spread in interdivision conference championship games. The Commanders are looking to do something that's only happened twice before, going all the way back to 1985 when the Patriots accomplished it, and the Giants, and that's win 3 games to make the Super Bowl while being 3+ point underdogs in all of those contests. And rookie starting quarterbacks, again, very short sample size, but they're 0-4 straight up and against the number in conference championship games since 2000. Average margin of defeat in those games, more than 2 touchdowns. So Jaden Daniels will clearly have to break a little bit of history if he's going to put this Commanders team on his back. Problem for him is he just doesn't have the elite defense he can lean on, so there is no margin for error, and it's why you've seen Philadelphia, despite questions about Quinion Mitchell and Jalen Hurts, get bet up from where that number opened at 4.5 out to that 6 threshold that you alluded to.
Todd Fuhrman with us, bettheboardpodcast.com, at Todd Fuhrman on social media. Buffalo is at Kansas City. This is the most vulnerable Kansas City has felt in one of these situations. Yet they're still a 1.5 point favorite. I mean, that brand dies really, really hard.
It's pretty wild when we look at how these two teams have played. If we go back to 2018 and we include both regular season games and the postseason, the Chiefs with 106 wins and the Bills at 84 rank 1-2 in the league. Well, the only differentiating factor, the Chiefs have 4 Super Bowl appearances, the Bills have 0. And Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, no strangers to one another, tied for the second most playoff meetings by quarterbacks going back to 1950. Only Tom Brady and Peyton Manning had more. Now, the one thing we know about that rivalry is Tom Brady typically got the best of Peyton Manning, but Manning did break through for 1 Super Bowl as a member of the Indianapolis Colts before it was the Broncos defense that took him across the finish line in the twilight of his career. My big concern with Buffalo is the injury report yesterday with a lot of key contributors either limited or dinged up. Christian Benford in concussion protocol. Taylor Rapp, I don't expect to play, who's responsible for patrolling center field. Matt Milano dealing with a bit of a hamstring injury. And Taron Johnson not 100% either. You're going to want all hands on deck, even against the Chiefs offense that hasn't gotten to 30 points this season, because the problem for the Bills is they don't rush the passer at an elite level. And if you go through the opponents that have had success against Patrick Mahomes, not just this season but in the past, they're able to get 15 off his spot. And if the Bills want to play coverage, I wish them the best of luck because they're going to get carved up in this spot. I don't have a strong opinion on the side. I made the game 1.5, so I'm right in line with where the market is. And if the Bills were healthier defensively, would be much more bullish to try and go under the total. But with some of those concerns, knowing both these offenses could have success, the only path for the Bills is to kind of shorten the game, lean into the ground attack, and hope this Kansas City Chiefs defense that's been a little bit leaky over the last 6 to 8 weeks continue to be so.
Fuhrman, the last couple of months I've said Buffalo, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. This week, I'm not so sure. I'm kind of going the other way, and I hate to say this because, boy, the Chiefs are impossible. Unless you're a Chiefs fan, they are impossible to pull for. But if we play this forward with both favorites, Chiefs win, Philadelphia win, that's where I am right now. What would you list the Chiefs in New Orleans?
I make the Chiefs a very short favorite in the game, kind of how they're being priced right now against Buffalo in that 1.5 range. And I would do the same with the Bills against the Philadelphia Eagles as well. The interesting part about a Chiefs-Eagles potential rematch in the Super Bowl, that would be the lowest projected total for me, and I would have it under the key number of 47 in that 46.5 range. If you're looking for a little bit of offense, the best matchup for that would be the Bills and Commanders with a projected total in the low 50s.
Tennessee-Auburn's the marquee game in basketball this weekend. So, too, is Houston at Kansas. You got a thought on either one or both of those basketball showdowns?
I mean, if you guys tell me, will Auburn have one of their key contributors back? I know Bruce Pearl has played his cards a little tight to the vest. What are the expectations about Johni Broome being available?
I would say Johni Broome. I mean, I think if he plays, it would be limited minutes.
Yeah.
I would.
Do you think they would rush him back? I mean,
no.
That's the question. Is there really a need to kind of rush him into action for potential re-aggravation, knowing they're not going to determine the success of this season based on a couple of SEC games, knowing that a national championship could be in their future?
Yeah, I would say it's probably a 10 to 15% chance you see Johni Broome.
He's back practicing. They'll do game time decision. He obviously wants to play Fuhrman. Game day's there. It's Tennessee. There's a little bit of a rivalry between the two programs, but there's no need to rush him back. Let's say he doesn't play. Auburn can still win this game, though, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. They've shown an ability to be able to win games like this. And I know we talked a little bit about it last week, that Auburn has arguably one of the best, if not the best, home court advantages going right now in the SEC from a college basketball standpoint. And I'm sure Kentucky fans would want to argue that, Tennessee fans as well. But it's been a very difficult place to play. You'll be looking at Auburn if Johni Broome can't go in that 4.5 range. If he is available, you'll see the market respond a little bit more favorably there. The one thing that I will say about Auburn is the betting market has done a phenomenal job right now kind of catching up to them. And from an ATS perspective, if you go through the last handful of results for this Auburn side, just 1-5 against the number. And unfortunately for Auburn fans, it's not great when you can't exceed odds makers' expectations, but it is music to my ears and someone like LT. When you want to back the best teams in the country, you should be forced to pay a premium, and when they struggle ATS-wise, that's how you get a little bit of value in the college basketball ranks.
When I look at LSU and the Ken Palm, their defense is 52nd in adjusted defense. That's normally the type of defense Alabama's able to put 100 on. What do you expect in this game tomorrow against LSU?
Yeah, I just don't see Alabama being tested all that much by LSU for a lot of the reasons that you outlined there. I mean, credit to Alabama, bounced back with a 100-point performance in back-to-back games. I mean, we talked about the game at Kentucky. I was a little bit surprised to see Kentucky open as such a heavy favorite as where the market was last Saturday, followed up with another 100-point performance against Vandy, and no reason for me to believe that Alabama can't win this game comfortably. Expect them to open up, well into the double digits, somewhere in that 12.5 to 14 range against the Tigers.
All right, he is Todd Fuhrman. BetTheBoardPodcast.com for all the games. BetTheBoardPodcast.com. At Todd Fuhrman on social media. Thank you very much for the time, Fuhrman. Always great talking with you.
Always a pleasure, gents. Enjoy the great college hoops this weekend and, of course, the championship games on Sunday.
All right, buddy. You too. Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
All right, some TV games announced for college football after Brownie tells us about our friends at World of Wills, a generational thing around these parts.
Is it June already? We got TV kick times?
We do.
It's so cold outside.
We've got 2 TV kick times.
All right, I can't wait. I love those. No joke. O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC. See custom classic cars, hot rods, trucks, and motorcycles new this year. Check out the exotic car exhibit. Plus, do not miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous stunts live each day. Kids, meet your favorite costume characters and race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores and get all the details at worldofwheels.net.
Hey, and a great place this weekend to pick up a dinner for you is the New York Butcher Shop. Stop into either location. Go see Jim and that great staff. The Cahaba Heights location, the original, Highway 119 in Greystone, from the fresh meats, those huge deli sandwiches, prepared dishes like the incredible lasagna, meatballs to go, some of the best steaks you'll ever put on the grill. They've also got a fantastic selection of great desserts and fine wines. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
This one we sort of projected. Sunday night, August 31st, at opening weekend, no NFL. It's a highly rated game. Notre Dame and Miami moved to Sunday night, August 31st, 6:30 kick on ESPN. That is a window that has seen the last 4 years have something in common.
One of the teams has played for the national championship.
Brian Kelly has coached that game 4 straight years.
Has he really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
With Notre Dame and with LSU. This is the first time the last 4 years. BK, by the way, 1-3 in those games. He is off that Sunday night game. Notre Dame, Miami, Sunday night, August 31st, 6:30. We talked about some of the big games that first weekend. Somebody had to get moved to that Sunday because you couldn't have them all on that first Saturday.
Hard Rock Stadium. I mean, that'll be rocking.
Yeah, Catholics, convicts.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see, what new quarterbacks look like at both locations. And obviously Notre Dame, I think there is a different perception when it comes to this program now. But, I mean, that's a huge week one game.
No. I'm all in on that
and
one.
back to Brian Kelly with his struggles to start a season. They open in Clemson. If he loses that game, he's already behind the 8 ball again.
That would have been a great game to either be on Sunday or move to Monday night. LSU Clemson Labor Day night. They didn't do that. The Monday night, Labor Day night, 6:30 on ESPN. That's usually the Reese and Herb Street game, I think. TCU and North Carolina, Bill Belichick's debut, now moved from Saturday to Monday night, Labor Day night, primetime ESPN. You get full Belichick on Labor Day night. TCU and North Carolina from Chapel Hill there. By the way, Belichick signs his contract. 5-year deal. Only the first 3 years are guaranteed. So there are some outs for Belichick. 3 years are guaranteed at $10 million a year. The buyout goes down to just $1 million this summer, so he's really only locked in for 1 year. His contract at $10 million makes him tied for the 6th highest paid coach in college football, on the same level with Kalen DeBoer and Mike Norvell.
I mean, I'm not really surprised. I know we're probably going to get to the Shane Beamer deal. I mean, the money is outlandish right now.
Who are the 5 coaches ahead of Bill Belichick, Kalen DeBoer, and Mike Norvell?
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart is number 1. Dabo is number 2.
Ryan Day.
Ryan Day is 5th.
Steve Sarkisian
is 3rd.
And how many am I missing?
You're missing 1.
Brian Kelly.
The 4th spot. No, it's not Brian Kelly. Lincoln Riley. Yeah, yep. So it's Kirby, Dabo, Sark, Lincoln Riley, Day. Now Belichick, DeBoer, and Norvell on that line right after that.
Is TCU and Sonny Dykes becoming the traveling sideshow? After getting blown out for the national championship, we're going to pair you up against Dion in his first game. Now we're going to pair you up against Belichick in his first game.
They're the Washington Generals.
Do you want me to give you the ABC triple header for week 1?
We know it already?
No, I can tell you what it is, though. Because South Carolina plays Virginia Tech, there are 2 Atlanta games. The site I use, FB Schedules, has this as a Sunday game. So they did a Sunday doubleheader this past season, I believe.
I believe they did, like 3:30,
6:30. 3:30, 6:30. So this would lead into Notre Dame, Miami. They're saying South Carolina, Virginia Tech is in that window for the Atlanta game. There's another Atlanta game that is Syracuse, Tennessee. They've got it listed in the Saturday game. So I don't know if that's already been decided. But based on the way they normally do things, I'm going to guess it has. So I think I know your.
So Syracuse, Tennessee would be the straight out of game day 11 o'clock kick.
I think it would. I think it would be Syracuse, Tennessee, straight out of game day.
Okay.
I think Alabama at Florida State will be your 2:30 kick on ABC Week 1.
Newly renovated Doak.
Are they completely finished? I thought it was going to be a 2-year project. Maybe they are
completely finished. I'm told by somebody in the know who wants to come on our show.
Okay. It's rather random. Alabama at Florida State is going to be your 2:30 kick, and your prime 6:30 kick is going to be LSU at Clemson. I think that's going to be your ABC triple header.
It's a nice triple header.
It's a good lineup.
Syracuse, Tennessee, neutral site in Atlanta. Alabama, Florida State, 2:30, and LSU at Clemson primetime would be my projection there.
Yeah, I was on with Danny Cannell this morning.
Oh, Danny wants to come on? Yeah, well, tell Danny, come on anytime. I like Danny.
They fully renovated. He was fired up to.
Yeah.
You guys going to do the show from down there on Friday? I said, we're a threat, man. We're a threat to be down there on Friday before the battle at the Doak.
Texas, Ohio State is interesting because I don't know how the selection process works. Klatt has told us they get the first pick, but they don't get the first 2, right? And I think they always use their first pick on Ohio State, Michigan. So I don't know where because Texas, Ohio State would scream big noon kickoff.
It would scream that, yeah.
But I don't know that Fox will have the necessary pick to make that happen.
Yeah, I've got some TV numbers here. Tell us, Brownie. Well, let me tell you about New Life. New Life is our friend Daniel A. Moore. That's his company there. All the great works over the years of great Alabama football moments, some Alabama basketball moments are there for you at danielmooreart.com. Danielmooreart.com. You can pick up that beautiful piece of work right there that you see if you're watching on our video platforms, The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons in Tuscaloosa. That and so much more. Always get the coupon code, the promo code TNR when you're ordering, danielmooreart.com. All the great works over the years, you can find them, danielmooreart.com.
Boy, the people are in the chat room are like, 2:30 kick in Tallahassee. I got to start drinking my water right now. That'll be hot, trust me.
You can't hydrate enough for that one. Television numbers. Top 100 games in college football this year. It is all put to rest. 45 of the top 100 were on ABC. 21 of the top 100 were on ESPN.
So 66 of the top 100, 2/3 were ABC or ESPN.
That is correct. 17 of the top 100 were on Fox. 8 of the top 100 were on CBS. 7 of the top 100 were on NBC. And 2 of the top 100 were the playoff games that were on TNT.
You kind of gave us a hint there with the networks, but now that the Big Ten is the alpha of college football, right? Isn't that what people are saying? Of those 100 games, how many were SEC?
Here we go, LT. Of those 100 games, 82 of the 100 involved an SEC team.
Oh, there you go.
56 of them involved a Big Ten team.
Right.
So, you like Texas and Michigan falls into
you did
the
have some crossover.
Ohio State, Tennessee playoff. But 82 involved SEC.
So 82% of the top 100 football games this year had an SEC team playing in them.
Now, you say, well, Jim, is that not every year?
Is it?
It is not.
Really?
Last year, the top 100 games involved 66 SEC teams and 65 Big Ten teams.
Yeah.
So the gap went like this year. 82 involved SEC, 56 involved the Big Ten. Those are big numbers to me.
They are. Now, some of that is the change. The Big Noon had one of the worst schedules they've had.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It was. I mean, they barely had good games. I felt bad for Klatt.
Because of CBS and NBC stealing games?
Well, yeah, it's the new setup they have, which I didn't realize how it worked until Klatt explained it to us, that Fox can only show an 11 a.m. game. They cannot pick a game and say, we're going to move it to 2:30 because it's a West Coast game. Well, if Oregon is any good, none of their home games are going to be Big Noon kicks.
And they were number one in the country and unbeaten.
Last time I checked, Oregon was good. None of their home games are going to be Big Noon. So, the Big Noon took on some water this year.
Yeah. I just thought those were really big numbers television-wise on this widening growth that the Big Ten is passing the SEC. And they've got these big TV markets, but still the SEC reigns supreme in that ABC ESPN contract.
Yeah.
And it all being locked on. Now, those are multiple channels. I mean, people are making it out like the Big Ten. Well, I mean, you have to go find the Big Ten, Fox and NBC, CBS. Well, you got to find the SEC too, baby. It's ABC, it's ESPN, ESPN2, SEC Network. But having that ABC locked-in triple header is huge. How many people around the country locked in those 3 SEC games all week long?
One of the biggest falls from grace we'll ever see is CBS. I mean, what they have 7 of 100?
8 of the top 100.
God. Take it back to when they had the SEC. I mean,
but they only had like 15 games, but all 15 of them were in the top 100.
Were, yeah. When they had every single one of them, they would not have had a game outside the top 100.
Yeah.
I mean, how often did you hear Brad and Gary this year?
I did not.
Well, I heard them a lot because they were on a lot of USC games. Yeah.
USC Penn State was the one I remember hearing them on.
They were on 4 USC games, I think, maybe 5.
I think I heard Gary Danielson's voice on one game this year, USC Penn State. And that used to be a Saturday mainstay. I mean, Gary got pummeled by our audience, but you heard him every week. And I heard Brad and Gary one time this year.
Yep. I missed the CBS production value, the quality of the camera shots and
I don't
did not miss the.
Yeah, I don't think anybody
broadcast.
misses Gary.
Yeah, nobody misses Gary.
And I miss Rick Neuheisel. It used to be big pregame, halftime, postgame.
I never really watched their studio stuff.
Did not get a ton of that this year. All right, that's a little television number for you. When we come back, LT has 4 downs for us. What is happening with Jim Knowles? Not one school, not 2 schools, not 3 schools, but 4 schools are interested with the national championship defensive coordinator, where he ends up and why, likely, when we come back on the show that is being brought to you today by our friends at the Golfist. Brownie, man, when you have people who watch the show tweeting you from down in Gulf Shores, Alabama during a snowstorm saying, man, I wish we had a Golfist down here today.
Well, they may decide to put one there. They've got the one right there in Vestavia, Highway 31. They've got the one right there in Trussville, Van Road, just off Highway 11. Coming soon to Highway 280, and it is a great place to go. Always 70 degrees in the Golfist, never raining. There's never any wind. It is a great place to go enjoy Birmingham's best golf simulators. Play all the courses you've seen on TV, the courses you've always wanted to play. Play them inside now at the Golfist. Great place for a party. Up to 50. They can have all the games on the TVs there. While you play, you can watch the game. Bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own clubs to the Golfist. Also, if you're going to have that office meeting, get out of the office and go to the Golfist. It's going to be far more enjoyable. Treat your employees to a great day there at the Golfist. Everything I've just mentioned and booking bays right there online, thegolfist.com. That is thegolfist.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC with customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall, sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
I'll just tell it on the air.
Tell it on the air.
I don't know what is true and not true anymore, but this is frightening to me.
I told a story at trivia the other night I've never told on the air about my childhood. I don't know if I should tell it.
Yeah. Well, this is just
I forgot what story you told.
Okay, I can tell it. Lance will be surprised.
Public health notice here. A young lady in her early 20s posting on TikTok. Now, take that for what it's worth. It could be true, could not be true.
Okay.
But she is in Nashville. She's leaving dinner with her friends to go home, and she calls an Uber. And everything is it's a good Uber, she says, clean, everything's fine. She gets in the Uber, and it's a gentleman who's driving the vehicle, and as is about halfway to her home, she notices that he has all of a sudden pulled up his hoodie and zipped it over his nose, and there's a puff of gas that comes out of the front seat.
I don't believe this already.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, so what, she passes out and doesn't remember anything?
No,
it's absurd.
She says that she tried not to breathe for a second, but as the car slowed in the Nashville traffic, she felt a tingly feeling and got out of the Uber, opened the car door and got out.
Yeah, don't believe it.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's like something out of a James Bond movie.
Yeah,
she thinks it was some kind of, whatever that chlorophyll or whatever. Chloroform, yeah.
And normally that's you put on something and put it to face.
Yeah. This is the gang initiation, driving with their lights off, and he flashes lights,
this is
you get killed.
Waking up after a one-night stand and somebody with lipstick. Welcome to the wonderful world of AIDS.
Yeah, this is I woke up in a tub of ice with my kidney missing.
Yep.
This is people that put.
I do have an interesting TikTok story that Tyler has put in trash today.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, that's coming up.
And by the way, I'm selling if in fact we can do this.
Yeah. Just as as a father, I was worried.
It's worth it.
Yeah, and friends, I got young friends who Uber sometimes. I was worried. I just wanted to alert the world. Be careful.
Yeah, that seems like an impossible story, but
yeah, this is a girl who stops on the interstate to pick up a baby. I mean, these are all these urban legends that
they made a movie on that one.
Yeah, I saw that movie. It's not very good. You want my story I've never told on the air? I told it.
By the way, Dunaway, he told it the other night. I was so intrigued, and he told it 2 nights ago, and now I've already forgotten it.
And he told that story at Odie's. Tell us about Odie's, and then Brownie retells the story.
2 locations. The one that Brown told this miraculous story on Wednesday night. That's the one we're at every night for Odie's Team Trivia. Of course, live music on Fridays and Saturdays, both locations. And, of course, Rodney Davis, incredible food from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets, full of Bud Light, great place to watch all of your college basketball action all weekend long. Get in and see Will Avery and that great staff. 2 locations, Birmingham Institution, Odie's Tavern.
When I was a kid growing up in Anniston, there was a woman with no arms that would eat with her feet at restaurants.
Now.
Yeah. I've never told that story before, but can you imagine being a kid and you're going to stare at that, right?
Why did you think that was controversial, though?
Well, I think it was controversial. I just didn't know. You never know if, like, one of her relatives or if she listens to the show or watches the show. You never know.
But she would use
I'm
her
not
feet.
making fun of her. She was a go-getter.
She would use her feet to use the spoon and fork.
She would hold the spoon and fork in her feet. So she would walk in. I'll never forget being a kid being at Pizza Hut on Quintard Avenue in Anniston. And this lady walks in, and she's got no arms. And she sits down. She kicks her shoes off, and she's very limber. She was able to get her feet, like, up between her and the table and, like, lean down and picked up a fork with her mouth and put it between her toes. And then would, with her toes, would get a piece of pizza and eat it.
Couple of questions. How did she drive to Pizza Hut? How did she open the front door?
She might have been with someone. She had someone with her. Now, I can't answer all those questions for you, Lance, but multiple times I saw her in a restaurant in Anniston eating with her feet. And when your parents are like, Ryan, do not stare at that. What do you think Ryan did?
I mean, there's no way not to.
You immediately stare, right? And then Ryan, don't make any jokes. What do you think Ryan did? Yeah, of course.
Hey, there
jokes.
she is. Look.
See, told you. Well, I don't know if it's the same woman, but
I'll tell you though, if
knife
you are
and fork in her feet.
Eating with your feet, you better make sure you've got really pristine, clean-looking feet.
Maybe so. I don't know.
Like I think the pedicure is very
eating
important.
Pizza with feet, and I don't think that any of this is what I was.
No, that's not what I had in mind.
It seems to have more of like a gym approach.
Tyler, have you ever seen
Yeah.
My Left Foot? Daniel Day-Lewis, first Academy Award he won.
He could play piano with his left foot?
I think he painted, did everything with his feet.
Yeah.
I've never seen it either. It's supposed to be a good film, but
The human. I mean, it's a great creation from God. The ability to everything. The ability to just adjust and survive.
do you think right now, if I threw, and I wouldn't do it because I'd never use it again, but if I threw this pin down and you took your shoes off, you think you could pick it up with your foot?
Oh, 100%.
I can pick it up with my toes.
My toes. That's part of your foot.
Now, I'm not limber enough to, then pull it up and put it behind my ear.
No, but I'm just saying
Or right with it.
You think you've got enough
Right
functionality with your foot. If we threw it down, you could take it off and pick it up where you could take it with your hand.
Yes, I could do that.
I could easily pick that pin up.
But
with my
I'm
toes.
between pedicures. I'm not going to do it today, but I can do it this summer.
I'll do it in a heartbeat. Drop that pin right now. I'll take my
You've got a pen, don't you?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
I like this pen.
Can I use the expo marker?
Hey, it is weird how
I don't even want to see this, to be honest with you.
I'll do it anyway.
No, but it is weird how you'll shake somebody's hand, don't think twice about it.
That's
But
right.
if somebody
Where
put
that
their
hand
foot
been?
up, would you?
Yeah.
Now I know Dunaway would shake the foot.
I mean, if that's all the person had, I would shake the foot. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I'm just
if
saying you love
if
feet.
Jesus Christ can get down on his knees and wash the feet of people, of peasants, I surely would shake the hands of a foot.
No, I'm just saying you love feet, though. Dude, you need that. That thing is ashy.
Don't judge my feet.
I didn't even see it, though.
Yeah, and hence that is why I did not take my shoes off.
Okay. I didn't know you would go that way. I thought you might go the long way and try to use all five.
No. You got to go with your.
Got to be.
So you did the ninja toe.
I did the ninja toe.
1 and 2.
I would
yeah.
have done the other. So you would have gone ninja toe
It's got to be
too?
1 and 2. He absolutely picked it up the correct way.
Oh, see, I think I would have gone the other way.
No, that's
No, you
also
can't
the
do that.
that's also the way I would hold a fork or a knife would be between toe 1 and toe 2.
I mean that dude's foot is banged up holding the pizza.
Is this what the Aniston Pizza Hut looks
No,
like?
no. She used a knife and fork. She did not hold pizza in her feet. She had a
Right.
fork. Now, I think somebody cut the pizza up for her.
Yeah, but how many people use knife and fork for pizza?
How many people eat with their feet? I mean,
It's a
she.
deep dish.
Well, this dude's not using knife and fork.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's disgusting. She would. I'm sure she knew my feet have been in my shoes. I want to keep them away from my mouth, but I got no other choice because I got no arms. So I'm at least going to use a fork.
But you can even see in this dude's foot here that he is. It is becoming to be finger-like on his toes.
Hey, I got to be honest. This guy's on the driver's side too. Is he eating pizza with his foot and driving?
You eat with your right foot and you drive with your
And he's
left
about to
foot.
run this dude over in front of him.
Yeah.
It looks like his heels are just torn up.
Yeah. Well, Lance just said
Like he's
mine
been
were.
walking barefoot.
I've got chronic dry skin, Lance, and I apologize that you had to see my ashy feet.
Yeah.
No, I mean, do you sleep with socks or no?
No.
So does Jim Brown get all cut up?
We got a king size bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But
was
no.
gonna say because if you're spooning, and
it's too hot
that
to
rubs
spoon.
up and down on that shin, boy, you could cut her wide open.
Too hot to spoon.
Slice has the pizza that we're not talking about. They have the good pizza, the clean pizza that you don't need a knife and fork for, and they bring us 4 downs every day. Tell us about Slice.
5 great locations. Make sure you stop in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Newest location right there in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, you can always go online, check out that menu. Go to slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More total touchdown Sunday. Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen?
Total touchdowns, I'm going to go Josh Allen. You heard Fuhrman say that they haven't hit 30 all year. I think the Bills win this game. And well, they're getting points, so they obviously will cover. I could see this being a 30-21 game Bills.
I am going to go Patrick Mahomes. More touchdowns. I think we focused too much on this Josh Allen and not turning over. This feels like the game where they hit 3 turnovers.
Yeah, how are you going to watch Sunday? Because I don't really like the Bills. I like them more than Kansas City, but I think Kansas City is going to win this game, unfortunately.
I'm Chiefs Kingdom all the way. You know me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hate either one of these teams to win, but I do think the Chiefs are going to win.
I know which one I hate the least winning.
I'm going to go Pat Mahomes more touchdowns.
Yeah.
Although I think Josh Allen is a better quarterback right now.
I will tell you before you hit second down, only four teams had over 70% success rate on fourth downs. They just happen to be the four teams that are still left playing.
That's weird, isn't it?
And it's not Philadelphia with the Philly push, the brotherly love.
On fourth down, it's Washington.
They're fourth. Washington's hit 87%. They go all the time. They've hit 87% of their fourth downs.
And it's a lot of them, too. I think, I don't know the exact now. I know it's 87%, but I think that's 87% of 32 attempts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of fourth down attempts.
Yeah, they go more than anybody. Buffalo's next at 72.7%. Kansas City at 70.6%, Philadelphia at 70.4%. Isn't it funny? We talked about the teams with the least turnovers. The four teams left. The teams that's been more successful on four downs, the four teams left.
I think it is going to be interesting when you talk about the brotherly shove this weekend now that Jalen Hurts is banged up. I mean, do you put him in that situation?
They didn't at the end of the Rams game, and it cost them.
Yep.
When you saw the Ravens even using like Mark Andrews because I don't think they're protecting Lamar Jackson. He's just small, and you're not, or smaller.
I mean, the ultimate quarterback to do it is Josh Allen.
Well, exactly. That guy is massive. I mean, he's built like a linebacker.
And he never really gets pushed. He just sort of sees it and dives forward.
He just kind of feels for the hole, and he's so tall and long that, I mean, it's hard to stop them in those situations.
Second down.
Moving forward, more Super Bowl appearances. Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels?
Oh, Jaden Daniels. Ryan Clark called him the best rookie quarterback of all time in the history of the league today on Get Up.
I don't think that's that crazy.
Yeah, that's really not
that's
that
what
crazy.
I'm saying. I don't
Guys
think
in the
it's that
NFC
crazy.
Championship game as a rookie.
They've got a new ownership group there that is going to spend money and manage it better. They'll eventually get a new stadium too, which will have all the bells and whistles to attract free agency. I think this is one of your best calls of all time, Lance, when you said coming out of LSU that he would be uber successful in the NFL, and it's only taken 1 year.
Yeah, I still think I'm going to go Jalen Hurts, though, because I think they're going to win Sunday. So that's going to be one. And then, I mean, there are some other really good teams in the NFC. There's some other good young quarterbacks.
Who had a better, Jaden Daniels had a better rookie season than C.J. Stroud last year, but is it significantly better to you or just better?
I mean,
number-wise,
Big
no.
Ben
but
for me, right? Big Ben?
Yeah, but I'm just comparing these two for a reason. Which one would you say was better? I know which one's better. Is it significantly better?
Numbers-wise, probably not.
Yeah.
And they did win the division last year.
That's right, and went to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this just feels different because of what Jaden Daniels has been able to do in the postseason.
I was just going to ask, do you think C.J. Stroud will ever make a Super Bowl?
No.
we were talking this way about him last year before we saw Jaden Daniels. Do you think he'll ever make a Super Bowl in Houston?
He could. The defense is really good.
But here's the difference. Like right now, if you stacked your AFC quarterbacks, you probably would have 4 or 5 guys in front of C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
I think Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC right now.
That's a great point.
That is the difference.
Wow. Right now, he's already the best.
Yeah. Again, it always goes back to the Rams.
Stafford is probably number 2.
Yeah.
Goff is right in there.
Goff's right in there.
Yeah.
But Goff is
Jordan Love when he's at the top of his game. But, I got no problem
with
that.
But the AFC is just so loaded.
Yeah. The MVP finalists were announced. It's Josh, Lamar, Joe, 3 quarterbacks in the AFC, Saquon, and Jared Goff. Those are your 5 finalists for the MVP.
Should be, yeah.
Third down.
Ed Helms, 51 years old today. Better career, Ed Helms or Eddie Money?
Ed Helms, Modern Family?
Nope.
Yeah, he's got to be older than that.
Ed Helms.
The Office.
That's right, and Hangover.
That's Ed O'Neill.
Yeah, Ed O'Neill's who you were thinking of.
Yeah. So he's from The Office. And him or who?
Eddie Money.
Eddie Money. Never liked Eddie Money. Eddie Money's one of the reasons I don't like classic rock.
You didn't want to be taken home tonight?
I did not want one ticket to Paradise.
You did not, much less 2.
Didn't like the shake.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Ed Helms, though I'm not sure he's done a whole lot. But Hangover and The Office, that's good.
Yeah.
So I'll go Ed Helms.
Ed Helms is a funny guy, though. I really like him.
Yeah, talented guy.
I think I will go Ed Helms over Eddie Money.
Yeah, I lean Ed Helms. Eddie Money from a cop to he had some, I don't know how many top 10s. 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, we just named a couple.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
Neil Diamond, 84 years old today. Better career, Neil Diamond or Vince Neil?
Well, for me, Vince Neil, because I've always found Neil. I cannot stand the song they sing in stadiums.
Sweet Caroline.
I can't stand it. Can't stand
that
it.
That is an awful song.
Can't stand it. I hate it even worse in bars.
Yeah, have you ever been though when they drop the music down and the crowd gets to do the one part?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you've been. You've heard that.
I've heard that.
I don't know if I've been in the bar where they do it. I
can't
saw it in
see
the movie Beautiful Girls, one of my 5 snow movies that I gave out a couple of
Okay,
weeks
but
ago.
if you're in a stadium or a bar where it plays, you don't sing it at all. You don't. You don't participate one bit. You just stand there.
I have.
Okay.
But I don't anymore. I don't
Yeah.
like it. I mean, I have early on when the trend was.
So
I
now
mean, if you're a Red Sox person and you do it, okay, I'll give you that. Okay, that's
Yeah.
been and Neil has sang it there at Fenway, but when you do it in other stadiums, no.
So you just stand there, not on a log. I'm not participating. I am better
So
than everyone here.
I may actually walk to the bathroom at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe time to get another.
But
soda.
90s Dunaway was all in. I mean, that
No,
was
it
your
did not-
that
it
was
could
your
not.
Jimmy Buffett days when
Could
you
not.
dress up like, what are they called, finheads?
Could
or
not. Almost bought a
parrot
Jimmy
heads?
Buffett T-shirt yesterday from TikTok Shop, and then I realized that I just bought a horrible sweatshirt.
When are
from
you ever
TikTok.
going to wear that thing? You said you're going to wear it.
I wore it to poker.
Why are
Is
you
it that
buying
bad,
stuff
EG?
from TikTok Shop?
It is the worst.
Yeah, TikTok could get
So,
shut down
EG,
at any time.
if you
dude.
cut another promo for our merch store, are you going to bring up Dunaway's?
Don't dress like Dunaway from the TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's self-admitted. We actually cut a video that never got it published, but it was like just to show how. Even I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was ugly when I was buying it, but I
Right.
thought it was ugly with sewn-on letters.
Does it smell like China?
It did. I washed it instantly. Pulled it out of the bag, threw it in instantly,
yeah,
washed
yeah,
it
yeah.
instantly. Before I even worked the poker that night. But it was out of the bag, went to the washer.
Did bird flu
straight to-
pop open when you
straight to
opened it
poker. I did cough. I was in an Uber in Nashville.
What was my other?
Vince Neil. I would go the front man of Motley Crue. I think I would go Vince Neil. I mean,
Is this better career or who I like most?
decades. No, better career.
I think Neil Diamond's had a better career than
I
Vince Neil.
disagree.
I do.
He should be eliminated just for the song "Forever in Blue Jeans."
I'm not a huge Neil Diamond guy, but what do you think, Tyler? You're shaking your head.
I'm agreeing with you. I think
Yeah.
it's Neil Diamond over Vince Neil.
Yeah.
Your grandparents way too much influence over you, Tyler.
I went to a Motley Crue concert. That was my first concert ever.
I've probably been to 13 of them. That may
Okay,
be
so
high, but I've been to a
Neil
lot.
Diamond.
Well, I could only see them when they were ending the band.
This is just one little factor. He is worth $300 million. There is no way Vince Neil's worth $300 million. I
No,
wouldn't
not a
think.
chance.
No.
But I'll check just.
Yeah. I don't celebrate either catalog. I've never been a huge Motley Crue guy myself. Certainly not a big
Vince
Neil
Neil's got
Diamond guy.
$50 million. He seems like a bigger spender.
Yeah.
I think Vince is
Probably had to get some NDA signed over the years.
Oh, one or two. Neil might have as well.
I think a
though.
lot of the Motley Crue guys are sobered up. By the way, 33 days, no alcohol.
Yeah,
about
congratulations,
that, Lance Taylor,
Lance.
everybody.
Good job out
Yeah,
there.
hey, even EG.
Yeah.
From the cheap seats over there.
Is the plan to crank it back up on February 1? Or
There's just been moments.
we're just going to see how long we can go?
Well, yeah, there's been moments where I just would love to have a cold beer or a glass of wine. Like,
just socially. Just
going to a nice dinner tonight, and I really want a glass of wine.
Yeah,
But
Maggie and I are going.
this is the by the way, longest I have gone since I was 14 years old.
What is
It really is.
Look at Tyler's face.
Yeah, 33 days.
It's a remarkable statement, Tyler. It really
Yeah,
is.
really.
Do not allow
Yeah.
it to wash over you.
Yeah.
So, what's your fear in having one glass of wine at dinner?
Oh, it's
You're
it's
just
not.
trying to reach.
I kind of want to make it to February.
Oh, okay, so that's the issue.
Yeah, I did start a week early, so I kind of want to.
Yeah, you may as well see it to the
January.
end. May as well see it through to the end. Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I don't plan. I don't know. You don't say anything out loud because then you get criticized when you don't or do something.
Nah, don't worry about the criticism from those that criticize it.
That's 4 Downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations. Stop in, see the Bajai brothers, created by the late Jeff. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy. Get into one of those 5 locations for more information on that great menu from the Hot Mama. Delicious wings as well. They've got that s'mores calzone for dessert. Stop in, lunch or dinner. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Promised a lot of things on the show today in the subtitles there at YouTube. I got to run through a bunch of stuff, so I'm just going to fast forward through the rest of the show here to make sure we get all this stuff
it's not a federal law. You got to do it all.
Well, we put it in the bottom. We promised people it's going to be in the show,
Okay.
so I feel like we should do it. We do it every day.
We can always just, erase it.
Yeah, you can go back and delete that line if we don't get to it.
I did not know that.
Yes.
That's news to me. On3 ranks the top 25 quarterbacks going into 2025. We'll let you guys take a pick before Forrester punches it up, but take a pick of who you think number 1 is overall.
I mean, it's probably going to be Arch Manning.
Fourth. Arch is fourth.
He should be fourth. I mean, look, we've never seen him
We've seen him a good couple starts, but not in a meaningful situation. His best team he started against was State, I think.
Yep. I'm not even sold. I'm not sold on who 1, 2, or 3 is, but he is 4th.
Where is Carson Beck on this?
Carson Beck is number 7 at Miami.
Where's John Mateer?
John Mateer is number 9 at Oklahoma.
Is Jackson Arnold in the top 15?
We'll get to that on page 2.
Okay.
But page 1, Forster, if you have it, throw it up there. It is Sam Levitt of Arizona State, according to On3.
I don't see that.
Drew Aller.
Nope.
DJ Lagway.
Maybe.
I mean, do you have any confidence in any of the top 5? I mean, Lenore Sellers is 5. I know he's good.
If I was drafting any of those guys, I would take Sellers.
I think I would too. I certainly would take him over the top 2. I think that is a bad miss on your top 2.
Of that top 10, I think I would go Sellers. I think I would go Beck or Klubnik.
Yep. Nussmeier is 6, Beck is 7.
How in the hell is
Nico?
8. How is Nico on this list?
Mateer is 9, and you stack the box against Nico, don't you? To try to prevent the run.
Yeah, you do.
Nico has never taken a game over in his life.
Let me ask you this. You played the most important game of the season for Penn State, and your quarterback couldn't get the ball to a wide receiver.
Yeah. To 0. No completions.
0
to the
wide receivers. And you could
so much
say,
so they left school.
Yeah, you could. Exactly.
So 3 wide receivers left school.
You could say, well, the receivers couldn't get it open, or could the quarterback not throw them open? Yeah, you tell me which one, right?
Yeah, and by the way, and Levitt, number 1, and Levitt was really good, but without Scadaboo, they're probably a 5-loss team.
Yeah.
And nobody knows who Sam Levitt is.
You think Scadaboo pulled some people up into the box?
A little bit. And the same with Singleton and Allen for Drew Aller.
Yeah.
Now, I think Lagway's got that potential, but I don't know how you put him at number 3. I think Sellers just,
There's no sure thing on that list right
there. There is not.
Yeah.
Nope.
And that's the top 10 going into 2025.
Yeah.
Now page 2.
Wait, by the way, that's why if I was Quinn Ewers, I would have come back.
Because you could be your draft status?
Yeah. I mean, Ewers on that list, would he maybe be number 1?
Well, which logo would be to the right of his name?
It wouldn't be Texas.
Yeah, that'd be your question.
Josh Hoover will be playing on Labor Day night. He's number 11 on this list. If you don't know who he is, he's the quarterback at TCU.
I didn't.
Talon freaking Green of Arkansas is 12.
Boy, he showed flashes, though, Jim.
Yeah. Eli Holstein, Diego Pavia, C.J. Bailey, Mensa at Duke, Morton at Texas Tech, Robertson at Baylor, Beck at Iowa State.
Hey, by the way, Robertson and Beck are way too low on this list.
Avery Johnston at Kansas State, Altmaier, Maleva, Raiola, Moss, Sayin, Julian Sayin at Ohio State is 25. I mean, sight unseen, I will guarantee you I would take Sayin way above 25.
Yeah, I would too. And sight unseen with wherever you were going to put Ty Simpson, I would put him over 10 of these guys.
And that's my point. There's no, first of all, Jackson Arnold, who I thought was a great pickup out of the portal, not listed. And Alabama doesn't have a logo in the top 25 at quarterback.
Listen, I know we loved on this guy a lot, but Diego Pavia, A, being the photo, and B, being 14th is absolutely laughable. That guy, he didn't have 100-yard passing games sometimes.
Yeah, I think if you just look at transfer rankings, Jackson Arnold's going to be one of your top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the transfer portal.
That's right. That's right. And he is. He is.
Where's my man Fernando Mendoza on this?
Somebody in the chat room earlier said, find a woman that loves you the way Lance loves Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a really good quarterback.
he's on the same list as Ty Simpson, not listed. Alabama hasn't been in this quarterback situation since going into the USC game when it was Blake Barnett, and here comes nobody knows him, Jalen Hurts.
That's right. Which turned out really, really good.
Yeah, who's about to start his second Super Bowl.
I know.
Turns out okay for there. That's a crazy list from On3 Sports. More college football coming up in the next segment. And we'll talk some basketball on a big basketball weekend as well. The show being brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Taylor loves them. So does EG, Woodhouse Day Spa. LT loves them. And Brownie, you and Jen.
We're going to take Brown's feet to the Woodhouse Day Spa.
I got a good. Well, I didn't get the foot scrub. I just got a massage.
Yeah, somebody had to rub.
Would you do that thing? And they don't have it at the Woodhouse Day Spa where you hang your feet and you let the fish eat off of them.
It's leaches, right?
No, it's fish.
No, it's little fish, and they eat.
It's koi,
flesh.
Right? Whittle?
No, I don't. Huh?
Do you have a speech impediment? Are you saying whittle?
Little fish.
Little. Okay.
Whittle.
Whittle fish.
Whittle
I thought you said whittle fish.
Anyway,
I've done it before.
If you love just the gift of relaxation, you want to give it to your wife, girlfriend, give it to yourself. Our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa, Birmingham's best day spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, from the nail services, waxing, skincare, body treatments, massages. You can order gift cards 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or stop in, see Stuart and that great staff. Tell them the Next Round sent you.
Did it tickle?
Oh, very much so.
Oh, I couldn't handle that.
Very
then.
much so.
Yeah.
And I couldn't leave them in there long enough. When they start nibbling on your feet, they tickle.
I can't believe you got that done.
Yeah.
I'll go
It was here
somewhere
in
and
Birmingham
let,
somewhere.
yeah.
Wow. Maybe it was in
See, I don't even
the
like
desert. It was in Birmingham, I think.
I've gotten a few pedicures.
I like a pedicure.
But the thing I don't like is when they start scrubbing the bottom of the feet.
I don't either, which is why my feet look the way they look.
Yeah.
I apologize.
It needs to be done, though. It needs to be done.
Apparently, the fish that eat the dead skin on your feet are carp-like fish called Gara rufa, or doctor fish.
Oh, Dr. Fish.
Yeah,
Dr.
the worst
Fish.
would be if then somebody kills that fish and eats the fish after they ate all the foot.
Naturally salted at that point.
Ugh.
From the inside out. When we come back, college football and college basketball, this is the Next Round.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC with customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall, sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only, meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday, it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday, meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
A lot more college football to get to, including ESPN's grade of Kalen DeBoer, of which you gave him a C?
A D.
A D. Okay, we'll see what ESPN graded him and the other first-year coaches in a second. But basketball first. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. You're getting ready for the big primetime games tomorrow night and then the football championship weekend in the NFL on Sunday. Why don't you enjoy it with Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew, perfect for your tailgate year-round. And for your viewing at home, like Super Bowl Sunday, go ahead and get the order there at champy'schicken.com, champy'schicken.com. Call it ahead and just go through their pickup line. Never get out. Or hey, go inside. Enjoy the meal inside or go in and pick it up. Enjoy a cocktail while they prepare it for you. It's always cooked to order. It's champy'schicken.com there. This week, Bruce Pearl was on with Coach K on Sirius XM, and they were talking about Johni Broome. Here is Coach Bruce Pearl of Auburn, and one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time, Coach K.
What is the situation with Johni Broome? Is he still going to be out for a while?
You know, he sprained his ankle, and fortunately, it was his left ankle. And so as a left-handed player, he jumps off his right leg all the time.
Right,
so he hardly even uses that, right? But it was the first time he ever sprained it. So, Coach, you know what that's like. When the first time you sprain it, it takes a little longer to repair, and obviously we don't want to rush him back. So, I would say, like, at this point, he's questionable for Saturday, but he'll be back. He's absolutely going to be back in the next week or two, I would imagine.
Okay, out of reference, he didn't correct him on the pronunciation, just like we don't with Furman.
Yeah. I went heavy on Johni.
I almost sent Furman. I was asking Taylor a couple of weeks ago, so I was like, should I give Furman a heads up on this? And I was going to, but I completely forgot.
The greatest basketball coach in our lifetime says it too, by the way.
Speaking of Bruce Pearl, though, Jeff Borzello and Myron Metcalf did their top 15 coaches at the midseason point in college basketball for their midseason Coach of the Year ranking. Where do you think Bruce would rank on this top 15?
Coach of the
I'll
year.
tell you how many SEC we've got. We've got the 15. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6 SEC. 6 of the top 15.
Who did the list?
This was ESPN, so it was Jeff Borzello and Myron Metcalf.
Okay.
I did see our guy Gary Parrish do one last night. He had Mark Pope number 1. As his midseason coach of the year, whatever point we are in the season coach of the year.
Pope on here is number 10.
Wow.
Yeah. And Pope has done a really good job.
Yeah, he has.
I'm going to say, is this for coach of the year or just who they think is the best coach?
No, this is candidates that they are considering midseason coach of the year.
Okay. Well, it's hard not to have Bruce as the highest because they are the overall number 1. So I probably would go Bruce Pearl is the highest rated SEC one. I would go the next in the SEC. I probably would go Nate Oates. And then third in the SEC, and you said there was 3 in the top 10. Is that right? I'd probably go Mark Pope.
In the SEC, there are 4 in the top 10.
Yeah, but I would probably go in that order: Pearl, Oates, Pope.
So on the list, they've got Pearl number 1.
Okay. I got no problem
with that either.
I mean, that's where his team is.
Yeah, John Shire is number 2.
That's who Gary Parrish had. I think he had Pearl 3, Shire 2, Pope 1, if I remember correctly.
Darian DeVries, the head coach at West Virginia, if you're wondering. Todd Golden, number 4. Again, that story has completely gone away.
It really has, isn't it? shifted to an assistant coach now.
Oh, actually, they put it in here. So it's just 3 paragraphs. Right. Second paragraph, we would be remiss not to acknowledge that off the court, Golden is the subject of a Title IX investigation spurred by multiple allegations of sexual harassment and stalking that became public in early November.
Yeah.
Dennis Gates, number 5, Missouri. You guys got to give him credit.
Yeah, he's done a nice job.
Izzo, number 6. Pat Kelsey with Louisville, number 7. Brad Underwood, Illinois, 8. Otzenberger with Iowa State at number 9. Pope, number 10 with Kentucky. And just Mississippi State was 11 with Jans. Barnes was 14.
You mentioned Louisville earlier in the show. I think you said they are 8-1 in conference, or 8 of their last 9 or something like that.
8-1 in the ACC.
Yeah. Which would be 8 of their last 9, I guess. That is amazing because that program had fallen long way off.
I mean, went year to year. Really good. So Auburn and Tennessee coming up on Saturday. You heard him tell Coach K it was questionable for Johni Broome. That's what it'll be all the way up to game time. We'll see if he ends up playing. Taylor will be down there on social media covering everything for you starting tomorrow with College Game Day, 10 o'clock. If you're watching on ESPN, she'll have stuff before that at Next Round Live. We're about to tell you about Hemp Hill, and our friend Ashley, who's here from South Carolina, she's here from Charleston. We're about to tell you about Hemp Hill. Come on in here, Ashley. She loves Hemp Hill, by the way. Hemp Hill, the name Birmingham stretches since the 1950s.
Do you like mayonnaise, bro? 205.
She's trying to figure out a way to get to the Lego chair.
Yeah, she can just walk through.
Yeah.
Look, she's been a guest on our last call before, so she knows the studio well. 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there are waiting your call if you have any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Yeah, so Ashley, great last call with Ashley, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to go catch up.
She was part of the Motley Crue team for a long time, and PR for those guys.
Yep. And we just talked Vince Neil back in 4 Downs.
Yeah, just ask her on the phone. Vince Neil or Neil Diamond, better career?
I heard the debate.
Neil Diamond.
Okay,
wow. She's with us, Tyler.
Yeah.
I think Vince was a handful back in the day. I'm just guessing. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. She knows how he spent some of his money, why he's only worth $50 million, I'm sure. Nate Oates getting ready for LSU coming to town. Cut 2, Tyler, here. Here's Nate Oates on what Mo Dioubate has done. By the way, this has been part of our the basketball show this week, but his last 2 games, Kentucky and now Vandy, he was plus 21 in his minutes on the floor at Kentucky, plus 26 against Vandy. Dominating performances when Mo Diabate's on the court. Here is Nate Oates.
We came in maybe 3 weeks ago. He was killing everybody in practice one day. I don't know how long ago. It was probably about 3 weeks ago. And he was nobody could guard him. I mean, maybe Youngblood had the best option. He was too quick for our bigs, way too strong for the guards. Youngblood's strong, but even he struggled a little bit. So I came in the next day with about 6 new plays for him. So like if you're gonna play like this, like we're gonna have a wall. And Bowman, him and Ryan together running the offense. Bowman's more like keeps the plays together, keeps them organized, gives me my play sheets, and on the play sheet all of a sudden the next day, like it's in here. It's called the he named it himself the off-road package. So like Mo D's got the off-road package. I mean, it's kind of like smash mouth, not typically the way we play, but it's there. The more he comes along offensively, we've known he's been great rebounding defensive-wise, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah, so he went for 22 the other night, and the off-road package, I thought Nate was giving a little too much information. We got 10 plays for Mo there. Here's the sheet. Here's what we call it. You want to tap that down a little bit. But
yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to be a dynamic scorer, but look, I mean, he goes from 7 minutes as a true freshman to 14 minutes, and you wonder if those minutes go up because when he is on the floor, he's super productive.
He did a sweet Euro step for a bucket the other night.
He is very athletic, at 6'7". But, man, he's built like a tank, and I do think that this guy can be an absolute defensive stopper.
I mean,
and that's really what Bama needs.
How much does it speak about him, though, that he just said that? We call it the off-road package, not typically the way we play. But here are 10 plays I've put in the offense for the guy.
Because he's so good at it.
Yeah, I mean, that speaks a lot of him that you would go away from the way you're most comfortable playing because you want to try to get this guy more involved in the game. I mean, man, does that speak highly of Mo Dioubate.
Yeah, luxury to have when you look at all the scores Alabama's got on this team.
There's growing sentiment in the fan base for him to start instead of Jaron Stevenson.
Yeah,
Stevenson is a guy that does a really good job at what he's doing.
So when we had Richard Hendricks on the other day, that was a lot of the chat room, asking us to ask Richard, should Stevenson get fewer minutes and Dioubate get more minutes? I kind of rephrased the question. Because Stevenson has struggled offensively this year.
He has. He does a huge part defensively with his length on some of the better scores.
Tough matchup. I mean, he's 6'10".
Yeah. So there's a rhyme and reason to the way Nate is doing it, and I'm going to trust him on who starts and doesn't start. But as I always point out, it's not who starts, it's how many minutes you play.
Yeah, and Kevin is right. Like, if Mo Dioubate had hit the portal last year, Alabama fans wouldn't said a word.
No. I will be totally honest with you. With the roster they had as we were laying it out, I wondered how Mo Dioubate would fit in to the roster. How much playing time would he even really get?
Well,
he's a big part of what they do.
I think this will be something at the end of this year, though, keeping guys like Dioubate on this team, on this roster. Because obviously in a world of NIL, it's hard to keep all these guys, and he will be a guy that will be coveted.
Who needs a win in the SEC? And don't say South Carolina, but they're winless.
They do need one.
I know they need one. But give me somebody who needs a win this weekend. I've got one or two in mind, but go ahead.
I was going to go Texas A&M, Lance, on the road at Texas. A&M is 4-2. They're still in the mix in the SEC race.
Yeah, we've got the SEC standings, of course, if you want to pop those up. Taylor sent that out earlier, and I see what you're saying there. A&M, good basketball team, 4-2.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4-2. You're still in the SEC race, but if you lose at Texas, you fall to 4-3. You're not even the halfway point. You got 3 losses. It is going to be tough to fight back out of that hole.
Yeah, I'll go Vanderbilt. Just what they did last Saturday against Tennessee. You know, is Vanderbilt one of these teams we talk about, a postseason team from the SEC? They get back-to-back wins in a week over Kentucky. Top 10 wins over Kentucky and Tennessee would be huge for the Commodores.
I mean, I really think if you're not Auburn or Alabama, you're playing for a Friday tip time in Nashville right now. I think if you're not Auburn and Alabama, your path to winning the conference is really, really difficult.
You're trying to get that double bye.
Yeah, you're trying to get the double bye in Atlanta for whatever that's worth. I mean, I don't think that's going to impact your seeding in the NCAA tournament or anything, but it is nice to have, I guess.
Looking at those SEC standings, I got 2 teams. I think Mississippi State needs a win because they're 3-3, and they're just too good of a basketball team to be where they are.
And they're at Carolina.
And they're playing South Carolina.
It's a dangerous game, though. Carolina keeps all these games close.
Especially in Columbia there, right?
Or in Columbia, I should say.
And then there's Georgia. Georgia's too good to be 2-4 in the league. They're 2-4 in the conference, and that's an NCAA tournament basketball team. They need a win. They just happen to be at Florida.
Well, their bad news is 2 of their next 3, Jim, are at Florida and in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. That is a bad time to catch that point of the schedule. They do get South Carolina in between, at home in Athens. So that should be a win right there. But, boy, that is 2 tough road games you got.
But, look, you're down to Georgia, Texas. Texas up. They're NCAA tournament teams. And you're talking about you're 2-4 in the league. And you'll go back to that Big East year we talked about. What year was that?
11, 12.
Yeah.
11 when they got 11 in?
You had people with losing records in the league.
Yeah, I think there was some 7 and 9s.
Yeah, making the tournament. That's what you're going to have in the SEC this year. Crazy weekend in basketball coming up. To college football, ESPN gives the grade for Kalen DeBoer. Remind me what you said his grade was?
I went a D, and a lot of people thought that was harsh, but just, I mean, some of the performances. I mean, the Oklahoma 3-point output when everything was on the table to get to a college football playoff, that drops you a grade right there. And I just think 4 losses, the most you've seen since Nick Saban's first year. The inconsistencies offensively, some of the uncharacteristic penalties. It was just such an up and down. But, yeah, I went D, but maybe a little harsh.
Not that harsh. C-, but close to a D as you can get from ESPN.com.
Yeah. I was thankful for a lot of C-minuses in my life.
But I think one of you guys went C-, somebody went C.
I think I went C+, C-, somewhere in there.
Flat C.
I was in the C's.
I don't believe in the pluses and the minuses.
Yeah, I would just say this. The only reason maybe it was a little harsh was when you go from one regime of Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer. These guys are both great football coaches. Nick Saban, the best to ever do it. Kalen DeBoer, one of the young stars in the game right now. But they do it so differently, and to have to transform that program from doing it one way to doing it a completely different way at a high level is difficult to do. So that's a tough balance, keeping those players there, bringing in guys. So year one, there should be a little transitional period, but at the same time, Indiana was able to do it and get to a college football playoff.
Yeah, I just C- there for that. I mean, obviously, Kurt Cignetti, you're going to give him an unbelievable grade, right?
That's an A+, yeah.
Well, yeah. I would say your problem on, and real quickly before you move on DeBoer, is your lasting images are at Oklahoma and Michigan. And I know you beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl in between, but you were expected to win that game, right? I mean, if you'd have lost that one, it would have been a 5-alarm fire if you'd have finished the season with losses at Oklahoma, to Auburn, and then in the bowl game. But 2 of his last 3 losses were just absolutely terrible games to watch.
Where you had better talent on the field.
You did.
Yeah, even how bad those losses were to watch. If I just would have told you before the season that Alabama is going to finish 17th with 4 losses, obviously not make a college football playoff, what grade would you give just on that one?
Probably a C or a D.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not have believed you, number 1. And number 2, I'd have probably given it a C or a D.
I think you gave Jeff Levy an F when we did this.
I don't know if I had any Fs. It was a D- best.
Yeah,
but.
D- for, again, very close to an F for ESPN.com for Levy at Mississippi State.
Just there's a D in degree, right?
There's a D in degree.
I used to always say at Jack State, yes.
One other of note from the league, Mike Elko. What would you grade Mike Elko?
I would go a B, just the way it finished. I mean, the offense was so bad, and we hear about the offense was kind of tipped off with Marcel Reed against that Texas defense, but still A&M in year 1, 8-5. I probably would go B-.
B- is what it is. Yeah,
it's easy to forget that going. I mean, how deep in the season were they in Atlanta? It was going into the Texas game, right? They were still in Atlanta.
Because they had 3 losses, right? And one was to Notre Dame.
One was to Notre Dame, and the tiebreakers favored them. Had they beaten Texas, I think they had a shot at least of ending up in Atlanta. So, on one hand, that's a success in year 1. If I can go into rivalry weekend, year 1 at Texas A&M with, if I win, I got a shot, or I may be locked into Atlanta.
That was
But on the other hand, that record
it was a very Jimbo record.
It was. I've gotten a lot of 7 and 8 wins. If I feel like right now Texas A&M's a 7 or 8 win program because that's all I ever get out of them.
Our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, before we do one more college football thing here, talking about Jim Knowles. How much money would you pay for Jim Knowles to be your defensive coordinator? Urology Centers of Alabama keeps you on top of your health, guys. As you move from your 20s to your 30s and so on, you want to stay on top of everything, especially all your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and everything else. 205-930-0920 to get more information and schedule an appointment. Or you can go to urologycentersalabama.com. 16 great locations. Find the nearest one to you, urologycentersalabama.com there. So Jim Knowles, I am told and hear and see reports that he has a contract in hand to go to Oklahoma, where they are offering him $3 million. Personal reasons of why he wants to go to Oklahoma. I think maybe his fiancée or his girlfriend doesn't want to leave Oklahoma and come to Columbus, or whatever the situation is. Jim Knowles, for personal reasons, wants to be back in the state of Oklahoma. $3 million is the offer.
It's wild. I saw today that he made $2.4 million, I think it was, at Ohio State.
Yep.
And Oklahoma's highest paid coordinator was $1.1 million. So people are already saying, I mean, look at the raise he's going to have to get or look at the difference it's going to have to be paid by Oklahoma just for him to break even. He's not even breaking even. He's getting a raise out of this.
And then another school said, well, wait, if he really is going to leave Ohio, I will jump into the bidding. They offered him $3.2 million. Who do you think that was?
Team that needs a defensive coordinator.
Also in the Big Ten.
Penn State, because they lost Tom Allen to Clemson.
Penn State has offered him $3.2 million to move from Columbus to Happy Valley.
Well, you can make the argument he is the best coordinator in college football. I mean, you go back to what he did in Stillwater. In 2021, the year before he got the job, and was he a Broyles Award winner in 21?
I think he was.
Maybe.
He might have been. But Oklahoma State that year, they were in the top 10 in points per game, yards per play, yards per game, team sack percentage, sacks per game. I mean, guy knows what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball, no doubt.
And that's a tough offense to be a defensive coordinator with. You get a lot of quick drives and 3 and outs when you're at Oklahoma State. Do you have more? Do you have the other two?
There's one more.
There's one more. So
one more said $3.2 million. I don't have to tell you how much, but I can beat that offer. Notre Dame, who just lost Al Golden.
That's right. Al Golden went to the Bengals.
Yep. So Notre Dame, Penn State, Oklahoma have all jumped in. And Ohio State says, by the way, we want to keep you.
Yeah, so he's going to get a raise.
Interesting to see what Jim Knowles does, maybe as early as today.
What would you take? If those are your four options right now, what would you take?
Well, if there is,
and by the way, Josh Gaddis won it in 21.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
I don't know what the personal reasons are, whether it's,
let's take that off the table, though.
His family, somebody else, whatever that is.
Yeah, who knows on that? Let's take that off the table. Let's assume there are no personal reasons. Your offers are to get a significant raise at Ohio State, or you're getting a significant raise anywhere. Stay at Ohio State, go to Oklahoma, go to Penn State, or go to Notre Dame.
Well, I would say at Ohio State because they spend more money on athletics than anybody.
I think I would, too.
I can get good players.
Notre Dame would be number 2 just because there's such a buzz with that program right now.
And I think Marcus Freeman's a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
So if he wants me for a reason. And it looked like, I don't know about you guys, but it looked like Al Golden was running that defense, didn't it? It did not look like Marcus Freeman had his hands all over Al Golden.
I would do Ohio State, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Penn State for me. He's been there. It's a chance to go there and be a hero and help that program get back to good.
I'm going to say it clean read, 0 chance that Oklahoma under Venables or Penn State under James Franklin wins a national championship. I don't know if that's what Knowles is all about, but if you're about championships, you obviously just won one. You're going to make money wherever you go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. But I
like
me some Jim Knowles.
Where's the warmest territory of all that? Because
warmest,
it's Norman.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you, man, the last month or so in this stuff.
It sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And he's signing up for several months in a row of it, whether he's Columbus, South Bend, or State College.
For you Alabama fans out there, if you're old, you have heard your parents or maybe your grandparents gripe about the 1966 season, there are books written about it, the missing ring, where Alabama had won the 64-65 title. They were the only unbeaten, untied team in 1966. In my lifetime, I've always said 1977 was an egregious Alabama getting jumped in the polls, and Alabama should have been, maybe they should have been the first to three-peat in 64, 65, and 66. I personally think they should have been the first to three-peat in 77, 78, and 79.
Was 77 the year they lost to USC, or was that 78?
That was 78.
Okay, what happened in 77?
77, they were number 2 in the country, I believe, won their bowl game. Notre Dame beat number 1 Texas and jumped from 5 to number 1 over Alabama.
What a dumb system we used to have.
And that to me, if I remember correctly.
So their one loss, 31-24 at Nebraska, second game of the season.
Second game of the season at Nebraska. How good was Nebraska that
Nebraska was.
I think they were really good.
But they weren't ranked. I'll tell you what Nebraska did that year. Nebraska ended up 9-3, 5-2.
Yeah.
5th season for Tom Osborne. Man, he got started. Yeah, but you're right. Alabama was number 3. Actually, you're wrong. Alabama was number 3 in the nation.
But 1 and 2 lost.
Beat Ohio State 35-6 in the Sugar Bowl. Smoked Ohio State.
Woody Hayes' Ohio State.
And Notre Dame beat number 1 and jumped Alabama. Is that what happened?
From 4 or 5 to number 1. Number 1 Texas, I think, is who was number 1 in the Cotton Bowl, and then maybe number 2 was USC or somebody like that and lost, or maybe somebody.
Yeah, how different were the schedules back then, or how different was the SEC? Because after Bama lost to Nebraska, they only played.
Well, they played at USC, who was number 1 in the country.
Yeah, and won that game,
21-20.
But they only played one ranked SEC team the entire year.
That was LSU. Yeah.
Not that many ranked SEC teams back then.
And back then, I think you only had a top 20, didn't you? There was not a top 25.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And only 6 conference games, if I remember correctly. I bring that up to say that Alabama in the poll era has the most national championships. You can talk about the ones that are made up and whatever, but they got 14 in the poll era. And we told you this week, Ohio State moved into second with 9. There is a stat now, most second-place finishes in AP poll era history. And Notre Dame closed that gap. Ohio State has the most second-place finishes in AP poll history at 8. Notre Dame is now second with 6. Alabama and USC are next with 5. So almost national champions there. 8 times for Ohio State, they've been the runner-up in the AP poll era.
It's the Buffalo Bill.
Yeah. Notre Dame now 6 times in the final AP poll. Alabama and USC at 5 there. 77 was one of those years that sticks out for me as an Alabama guy back in the day that they finished number 2.
It just reminds you of what a dumb system we used to have. The fact that so I'm just looking at it. I mean, just think of how stupid this was. Why did we do it this way? The championship day, basically, what would be our championship day now? Number 1 Texas was playing number 2? No, they were playing number 5.
Number 5 Notre Dame.
In the Cotton Bowl. Okay, so number 3 Alabama then was playing number 2, right? Nope, they were playing number 9 Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. Well, surely number 2 was playing somebody meaningful. Nope, that was Oklahoma playing Arkansas in the Orange Bowl. 4 Michigan was playing number 13 Washington in the Rose Bowl, right? So number 4 Michigan, they're just not even a factor in this whole thing because they're having to play number 13. What a stupid system we used to have.
Yep.
It's amazing it used to be that dumb.
Who was number 2 that lost?
Oklahoma, 31-6. I mean, bowl games are wild back then, right? Because these were meaningful bowl games because you didn't know who the national champion was going to be yet. So this were not opt-outs and all this. People were playing to win.
So runner-up in the Southwest Conference, Arkansas, win and beat Oklahoma 31-6 in the Orange Bowl.
That's right. But champion of the Southwest Conference, Texas, got drilled by Notre Dame in the Cotton, 38-10.
Yeah. Maybe we had the Southwest Conference overrated that year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not. Arkansas played well.
Michigan lost that day, too. So it was a pretty wild day. You had number 1 lose, number 2 lose, and number 4 lose. So it came down to Bama and Notre Dame, 2-5, or 3-5, I'm sorry, and they jumped Notre Dame.
Yep.
I mean, when you beat number 1, what was Notre Dame? So 77, what did Notre Dame? Their only loss was again. Ole Miss beat Notre Dame. How about that?
6-3?
20-13 at Veterans Stadium there in Jacksonville. Or in Jackson, I'm sorry.
Yep. SEC team, by the way. Alabama probably beat them that year. Probably beat Ole Miss.
They did. They opened the season beating Ole Miss that year. I had just looked.
Yeah, another reason Alabama should have been ahead in the polls. And you wonder why people around here hated Notre Dame.
Because they got the benefit, right?
That's another reason right there, 77. When we come back, we got trash today, and then we'll wrap it up with some thoughts on the Championship Sunday in the National Football League. All that still ahead on the show that's brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. From the Birmingham Racecourse Casino studio, this is The Next Round.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
All right, before we get to trash, we were just sitting here talking to Ashley, who's, part of the Ryan Clark world, who does the Pivot podcast. We were talking about how, well received his interview with Nick Saban was.
I was surprised that
have you seen some of it? Or
I saw where he was asked, favorite players to coach at Alabama, and he went into 5 different guys.
I was surprised he answered that.
Yeah, I was too, because I did the coaches show one night with him, and I just randomly asked him. One of the questions was, who was maybe the best recruit you didn't get? And he was like, that would be so unfair to answer that because there were so many great recruits. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I don't think anybody's going to get beat up if you answer this.
Do you know the 5 he said? Do you know the 5?
I did, yeah.
Did those surprise you?
Well, you went Julio Jones first.
Which didn't surprise you. That was his first answer right out of the chute.
He went
Derrick Henry,
which
that was not surprising.
Orlando McClain.
Tua was actually 3.
Yeah,
just in that order.
Which doesn't surprise me either, because I've heard him say how much he enjoyed coaching Tua before, because he was always so positive, and he's talked about how Tua was a yes sir, no sir guy, just how polite he was.
Roe McClain. He inherited him.
Yep.
And then 5 was a great player. I was a little surprised with 5.
I was too.
Was a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Reuben Foster.
Reuben Foster. I mean, the guy was a headhunter. And a heck of a player, but Nick Saban has coached way better players than Reuben Foster.
Yeah. But in the Ryan Clark interview, he tells the story, and you can go see it, the Pivot podcast, Ryan Clark and the rest of the crew there. But it was, he says, we're practicing Derrick Henry's first time on campus, and the offensive coordinator is just chewing his ass out because he's not picking up blocks and stuff. And I'm about to go, give him a pat on the back and rub his neck a little bit. And I'm walking over there to him, and Derrick Henry turns to him and says, Coach, in high school, they tossed me the football and I ran. That's all I know about football. If you guys could just be a little patient with me. If y'all could just be a little patient with me.
He's easy to coach, man.
Yeah. He's like,
especially in high school.
All they did was toss me the football and I ran. And that's all I know about the sport.
Hey, and I bet they had a lot of success in his high school.
Well, yeah. Didn't he have like a 4,000-yard rush season or something like that?
Season, not a career.
No,
season.
He had some like insane rush total at Yulee High School in one season or something.
And Saban's laughing, and he said, so if y'all would just have a little patience with me.
Right.
I'm learning as fast as I can.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised, really. When you say Julio and Derrick Henry, those are obviously good guys to coach. Played hard every time. And Tua, because I'd heard him say that before. Roe McClain was, when Saban first got there, wide receiver became huge for Alabama. Obviously, running back did. Quarterback eventually became big for Alabama under Saban. But initially, it was that middle linebacker that was like the primo position. Every year, you're like, God, that guy, Dante Hightower.
You had to have that guy to
McClain,
run his defense.
But, Saban always had his fingerprints on the defensive backs, so no defensive backs, great offensive linemen. You only go 5 deep on this. Back to Yulee, 12,124 career yards in 4 years, 153 rushing touchdowns, averaged 9 yards a carry, in his best game, 510-yard performance.
Yeah. He didn't
510.
Yeah.
In one game, Florida high school record.
Yeah. He didn't have to pass pro a lot. Not a lot
Probably
of
never.
Yeah, I doubt he ever picked up a blitz at Yulee High School.
Yeah, so that offensive coordinator chewing his butt out.
I know.
If you guys would just have a little patience. Can you see Big Derrick Henry looking down at Nick Saban? Can you just have a little patience with him?
I mean, his carry total is probably it's as high as anybody that's playing football right now. Nobody's had more carries in their career than Derrick Henry. And that guy is still playing elite level football.
Hey, one playoff game, 58 carries.
58.
This is high school.
Yeah.
482 yards and 6 touchdowns.
482.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't
they
change.
probably had 62 snaps in the game.
I mean, Kiffin ran him 395 times the year he won the Heisman.
Yep.
I mean, there's nobody in football that's got more carries than Derrick Henry, and the guy still looks like he's a rookie out there just torching defenses left and right.
Around.
Yeah.
Go check that out. Ryan Clark's The Pivot Podcast. The show being brought to you by Dr. B. LT. Your hair looks fabulous on this Friday.
Thanks, Dunaway. Look, if
welcome.
you're starting to thin out, be preemptive. Dr. B is the man from the genetic testing, custom compounding, the transdermal infusion, AI hair analysis. He's been doing it for more than 20 years. Women and men turn to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. Tell that staff the next round sent you. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. For more information, t3hair.net.
This has happened to me one time in my life, and it happened to the great athlete that is Terrion Arnold this week. He posted this video on TikTok last night, and I want you to take a look. This is his security cameras inside, and he posted this video. He's waking up. He's walking down the stairs.
Checking his phone. It's amazing.
Yeah, socks on carpet, though, man.
Yep. And look, he stops at the bottom and just catches himself. Had a rough morning, he says.
Okay, you see the little...
And there goes the slip.
I don't know if you guys ever did this as kids, and I'm probably in the minority, but you
No,
see
I did it.
the little drop down?
What are you talking about?
I used to jump from the top stairs down, and I remember one time hitting my head on that thing.
Oh, I did it. I'll never forget this, Lance. We used to do. So you're talking about like jumping from the top stair to try to hit the bottom stair?
Yeah, to hit the bottom. And one time, I guess I had grown a little bit, and I caught my forehead on that.
I did the same thing at Jonathan Borden's house. We were at Jonathan Borden's on New Year's night because you know how I remember that? My parents had to come pick me up and take me to the emergency room, and the Orange Bowl was on. You remember the Orange Bowl? We were talking about
your
Morgan.
dad's cussing under your
Let me guess, Oklahoma or Nebraska was playing.
It was Oklahoma or Nebraska playing somebody, but the Orange Bowl was on at the emergency room. Remember, they had a TV at the emergency room. They had the Orange Bowl on.
Randy Brown was pissed.
Oh, he had to be. First of all,
did you have to get stitched up?
Yeah. I mean, of course, my head's got several scars from stitches in it. I had a active childhood at the ER. But yeah, I mean, it was like, I probably hit it like right here on my hairline, where my hairline is now. It wasn't there then.
We used to get pieces of cardboard at my grandmother's house. Me by myself, played by myself. But I would get pieces of cardboard.
And I was my imaginary friends.
Yeah, and when I was doing the Imaginary Olympics and announcing it, the bobsled was you get on the piece of cardboard, you slide down the stairs.
You take that from a neighbor's bed.
Yeah, the cardboard.
Yeah.
The people sleeping outside my house. Let's go to mortgage rights, trash on the table with LT. Hit the big button, Tyler.
Now, if that's too much, 12 different appetizers to choose from. I'm a fried dickle pickle man. I'm a fried dill pickle man.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, our friends at Mortgage Right, always here to help when it comes to mortgages. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take those next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information, go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. You guys like Adele, right?
I do like Adele. I wish I'd have seen her in the closed venue, small residency in Vegas. That seems like that would have been a great show because she was talking to the fans.
I mean, I think she's super talented.
Yeah, she's really good.
I think she'd be fun to go see.
Don't listen to a lot of her music. Do you find yourself listening to her a lot?
I find if it's on, I will listen to it.
I won't change it, but I don't seek her music out.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I do think she's extremely talented.
So that house you see right there, she's been accused of sabotaging the sale of this $6 million mansion she used to live in by its owners, who claimed she once said it was haunted.
Huh.
By the way, I'm starting to think I've got something. Some people have told me I've got bad vibes in my house, but lights have started to act weird. I've never seen any of this stuff myself.
Well, dude, we were trying to record our podcast last night, and Little T looked like she was in a rave. She had a light that would flicker bright and go on and
Well,
off.
my kitchen lights are doing the flicker thing, but like I was asleep, dead asleep at like 2 a.m. a couple of weeks ago, and this one fan light, which I don't know how to turn it on, just turned on.
Do you not think this is the aliens starting to send us
I don't
messages?
know. I don't know.
Why
I just went back to sleep.
Why would the aliens send Lance a message? Like, why would they choose Lance?
Why would you not?
That's exactly what the aliens want us to
So
think.
anyway, she claims this house is haunted. Now, the award-winning
Keith says
singer...
call Hemphill just in case. Maybe, maybe they'll fix it.
Yeah, they can root out the ghost.
Yeah.
This grade 2 listed lock house in West Sussex. She lived there in 2012. Now the owner has submitted planning permission to transform the property from a single dwelling to 3 residential units and convert an existing garage and flat into a separate cottage. Now in the submission, the owner said comments made by Adele about the 10-bedroom house being haunted during an interview has hindered the selling process.
What a beautiful home. We're going to break it into a triplex, a duplex.
Went on to say, quote, the first tenant stayed for 6 months, blighted the property by saying it's haunted. This comment negatively impacted future marketing efforts and continues to affect the property's reputation to this day. Now, this house was built in 1909.
Good-looking house for 1909.
It underwent major reconstruction in 1940. In 1971, it was divided up, sold at auction in 26 separate lots. Now, the current owner acquired the house in 2003. According to its current listing, Lock House and its 32-acre estate features 10 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, indoor-outdoor swimming pools, tennis court, helicopter pad, cinema room. It is up for sale right now for $5.9 million. Don't you believe anything that's been around longer than 100 years, people have died in it?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
If things truly are haunted, and I won't go on the record either way because I don't want to conjure them up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't want to see it.
Then I'm going to assume that a lot of places are, and that's going to be one of them because it's been around a long time.
Didn't you tell me your boy Cannell was staying in a haunted hotel in Atlanta?
Yeah, you tell me. I think it was in Virginia. He was there calling some game.
Oh, Virginia.
And he was telling a story this morning. You tell me if I crossed the line. He told the story on my drive in, so I heard him talking about this haunted house, and Dusty couldn't believe that he believed in ghosts. So when they introduced me this morning, I was like, Dusty, I can't believe you don't know Cannell believes in ghosts. I said, back when I used to call my bookie number 147, I called in 100 one night back in 1994 on young Cannell going to Florida State, going to play at Miami Saturday night prime time. And I knew he saw ghosts that night. He had 3 interceptions and cost me $100.
Oh, wow.
And Dusty loved it.
Yeah.
Cannell
Did Danny not so much?
Danny didn't laugh.
Yeah. You say Danny wants to come on the show. He's got to come back. He's got it holstered.
Quite the shot there. Okay, so there is a long list of bad things. I don't know if it's at the top of the list, but cold fries are never good, right?
Ooh, no. I don't
Cold?
like them.
Yeah.
No, not
I
at all.
do like to, if you do catch yourself with cold fries or a little soggy, I throw them into
The air fryer?
and
it works.
crisps them up.
By the way, I got Chick-fil-A last night. I cannot taste the difference. I even ate them knowing what you had said.
And you didn't put any kind of condiment on.
Nope, ate them straight. I cannot tell the difference.
So the
tastes the same to me.
The PEA, glistening starch that's on them.
It has not affected me, but maybe it's just...
So, again, back to that story. You're supposed to keep them crispier, but some people say they're now more bland.
They were crispy, but
Well,
I did not think bland.
This dispute over cold fries at a Wendy's in Kentucky erupted into an exchange of gunfire.
Oh, my.
Between a male patron and a female restaurant employee who was shot in the ass, according to police, who have arrested both people. Cops say Manja Wooten, 25, 2 associates this month, engaged in a, quote, verbal altercation at the drive-thru window with Tawanisa Coleman, a 26-year-old Wendy's worker, over cold fries.
Yeah.
Now, James Wooten and his co-defendants then entered the Louisville eatery where he allegedly produced a firearm and fired a shot. Coleman returned fire. You got to love that you've got somebody back there working on the fries that's got a pistol.
That's right. It's packing heat like Tyler.
She began to fire multiple rounds. Then she was actually struck in the ass a day after the incident. Second woman, quote, contacted police, reported that she had been shot. Woman reportedly admitted that she had been with James Wooten at the Wendy's where he had shot her.
Is this in Louisville or Lexington?
Louisville.
Louisville, okay.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Yeah.
I would say more often than not, my fries are too hot to eat when I get them, rather than cold. Most of the time, you can tell they just came out of the fryer. It's probably what I was waiting on at the drive-thru.
What was the young lady's name? Tawanisha?
Tawanisha.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Tawanisha, get your butt in here. That was a tough one to get mad at when she was a kid.
You call her T.
Yeah.
T?
So, it's bad getting fired, but how about this? Digital payment software giant Stripe accidentally sent a PDF image of a cartoon duck to 300 employees it was attempting to lay off as an attachment to their termination emails, resulting in some accusing the company of, quote, adding insult to injury. Now, on Monday, Stripe sent out termination notices via email to 300 of its employees, making up about 4% of its workforce. However, some of these employees received the attachment alongside their termination notices of a cartoon duck, alongside with the words U.S. non-California duck.
I don't get the joke on the U.S. non-California duck part. I know it was supposed to go with the email. I don't get it, separate from the email. What am I missing?
It's just funny that people got a termination.
No, I get that part. I'm just saying, aside from that,
what does U.S. non-California duck mean?
I guess that's just a U.S. non-California duck.
Oh, thank you, Tyler, for clearing that up. It's much better.
You usually have answers. I've learned now.
I don't know. It's not like a separate joke going on right now or anything.
I've learned that if you don't have an answer, you will answer, though.
That's what I like. And answer with confidence. That's what we do on this show.
Supreme confidence.
Even if you say it wrong, you say it with confidence. People believe you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Johni Broome.
Okay, here's the story that I brought up about TikTok. You guys tell me if you believe this or not. Some iPhone users never deleted TikTok during its brief ban in the U.S. I didn't know it was banned.
I didn't delete it.
I never deleted it because I do have it on there.
Yeah, I didn't delete it.
Was I supposed to delete it?
No. You
now,
knew it was coming back.
Some of those individuals are selling their phones for thousands of dollars on eBay as the popular app remains absent from Apple's App Store.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Users with the app downloaded on their phones can access the short video platform that returned for millions in the U.S. on Sunday and Monday, while some can jump back on TikTok without a hitch. Others who either deleted or never downloaded the app remain in the dark, as the Apple and Google app stores in the U.S. still don't have it available.
I mean, I will walk downstairs right now, and if somebody will forget $13,997, I will give you my iPhone. I won't even delete any information or pictures. Y'all can just have it.
I'm right there with you.
Y'all can have it for $8,000. I'll go down right now.
Right there. I'll drive to wherever you want me to.
Yes.
Now, it's unclear when TikTok's going to return to the app stores.
Oh, how about it? He's right. They're right, though. You cannot get TikTok in the App Store.
Yeah, not only do I have TikTok, I've also got TikTok Studio, if that ups the price for anybody out there.
Nonetheless, several iPhone owners have kept the app downloaded and are now selling their brand new or used phones for up to $25,000. This can't be true.
I've got CapCut, too. I mean, I got the trifecta here.
Do you trust that top offer right there? You can't get TikTok, but you can get one where all the writing's in Chinese.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, is that Red Note?
Is that Red Note?
Yep.
Yeah.
That right there is Red Note? The red thing with the camera?
Yep.
Well, it's all in Chinese. What did people think they were getting?
Yeah, they knew what they were getting.
Just an alternative to TikTok. They didn't think they were really skirting around anything.
Oh, they knew that they were getting a Chinese.
Yeah, the terms of service that you agreed to at the beginning are all in Chinese. So,
well, I never read them when they're in English, but
but
very true.
You do have to wonder if people are just like
you
trying to look at videos and end up enlisting for the Chinese army. Or something.
You do. In Red Note, I saw the video on it. You pledge allegiance to the Communist Party of China.
I don't know that Pledge of Allegiance, Jim. I only know ours. Certainly can't
now,
say it in
it's
their language.
unclear if the iPhones with TikTok installed are selling, but most of the more than 2,000 phones being auctioned on eBay do not have active bids. The phones that do have offers, older iPhone models that are going for about $100 to $200.
Forrester says he's selling both his daughter's phones for $14,000 right now.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Absolutely. Right now.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
If you post that online, you'll need to bold print the word phones.
Yeah, because the first time I read it.
Yeah, it'll be like, federal agency, Mr. Forrester, please. That is trash, brought to you by
our friends at Mortgage Right, your mortgage experts. If you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right, here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, they can help you out, no cost or obligation. Whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
Saturday night when they killed it, because it went away early. Like they had up until midnight Eastern time, I think, Sunday morning, late Saturday night, Sunday morning. And they killed it an hour and a half early. I was on it when it died, of course. I spend way too much time on TikTok.
Do you think you spend an hour a day on?
No. I was scrolling.
2 hours?
Maybe more. I was scrolling, and I got to the end where it wouldn't scroll anymore. I was like, well, I've gotten to the end of TikTok here. Yeah. And it was like, you shut it down. I was like, What am I going to do?
I did check a couple of times after it already shut down if it was back yet or not.
Hey, if you need some time to kill, The Brutalist is a 4-hour movie with an intermission.
As Tyler said this morning, I said, how was it, Tyler? He goes, it was 4 hours. I mean,
that is just such a long time to be in the theater. I wore the wrong pants on top of that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a professional.
What was wrong with your pants?
And you had a large meal. You had a large meal from our friends at Walk-Ons, which is great food, but you guys tried to double eat because you were going to be in the theater. And I don't think that ever works. You can't double eat a meal, right? You can't overstuff yourself and expect that to last comfortably throughout the evening.
How many times do you have to get up, go to the bathroom?
I only got up once during the intermission.
Yeah,
but
so what was the issue with your pants?
I just wore the same jeans that I wore to work yesterday instead of changing into some sweatpants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, should have gone comfortable.
That's just a long time to be sitting in a hot
good
theater.
I agree. Yeah.
How good's Adrian Brody in the film?
Oh, he's fantastic. It's just a 4-hour movie. You got to commit to it.
Yeah. Our friends at Champy's bringing in our final thoughts today. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Perfect food for lunch today, dinner tonight. Maybe it's date night for you guys. Champy's Chicken if you're in the area. Great atmosphere. Sterling, make sure of that. The chicken is cooked overnight, brined overnight, I should say, and cooked to order when you come in. All the great sides in the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. The final thoughts before we do the NFL. The Braves pick up Jurickson Profar, who was an all-star last year, but he had a career year, 280 hitter, 24 home runs, 85 RBIs. He's going to be in the outfield with Michael Harris and Ronald Acuna. They paid 3 years, $42 million. It always worries me when you pick somebody up coming off of a career year.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like you...
Because he's played with Texas and Colorado and somebody else.
And he is 31.
Yeah,
for whatever that means. So he's been doing it for a long time. I mean, he's been in the league for 12 years.
I'll tell you one where it worked. Do you remember Daniel Murphy? You remember that name?
Oh, yeah.
You know, Daniel Murphy had that massive World Series for the Mets.
Mets, yeah.
It was really the whole postseason. I think he was red hot for the Mets. And the Nationals bought him and played him at second, obviously. And he was really good for the Nationals. That was one of those where you're like, boy, you're buying a bill of goods on the World Series, but he actually delivered for the Nationals.
Yeah, but this is a career 245 hitter.
That's right. So that scares me if you're a Braves fan, but a lot of you are, and I know you probably think it's a great pickup. Brandon Miller, the former Alabama star, is out the rest of the season, tore a ligament in his wrist this week. He was averaging 21 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for the Hornets there, having a really good NBA career. And Alex Ovechkin scored again last night. He's just 20 goals short of Wayne Gretzky's record now. So he is chasing it down.
Hey, back to Brandon Miller. Somebody brought up the other day that Darius Miles is still in county in Tuscaloosa.
I don't think he's they haven't had the trial yet, have they? Yeah, I mean, I think he's still awaiting trial.
I mean, that's been forever
ago. I know.
It has been.
Yeah. It's two full seasons.
Yeah. NCAA tournament when they get bounced in Louisville, Sweet 16. Brandon's off to the NBA now.
Final Four run, and now you're halfway through the next season after a Final Four run.
Yep. It's Championship Sunday in the NFL, everyone's favorite Sunday in the NFL.
Ugh.
2 games. You don't like either game?
I mean, I just, it's...
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Sunday
it's an unbelievable Sunday.
Yeah.
2 o'clock on Fox. Washington and Philadelphia. The Eagles a 6-point favorite in this one. Saquon Barkley has 324 rushing yards in the 2 playoff games. You heard the ridiculous number that his
128.5.
128.5 is his bet.
I couldn't do it because I did like Philly a lot last week against my Rams, but I didn't want to play it. But 114.5, I was like, man, this is one of the more inflated numbers I've seen. So I wanted to play that over. Now he only got it because of the 2 breakoffs that he had.
So there were how many games in an NFL season? 271 or something like that, to whatever it is. How many 130-yard rushing performances do you think we've had?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, and that's his total.
Maybe not double digits.
Yeah, and that is his over-under.
Yeah. Jaden Daniels trying to be the first rookie ever to start a Super Bowl. Does that surprise anybody?
It does not. I mean,
yeah.
I know we've had a lot of Super Bowls.
Big Ben made it to the AFC Championship game. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did.
Because they went deep. I remember.
Yeah, because they lost to New England.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a handful like last year. C.J. Stroud made the divisional round. You've got a handful that'll make it a little deeper than normal, but boy, it is so hard for veterans to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was going to say back to 128.5. How would you play that?
Under.
I would too, because you just look at Derrick Henry, who was the second leading rusher. How many times do you think he went over that number?
Over 128.5?
Yep.
I'm going to say twice.
3 games.
9.
9?
Yeah. I said I was about to say I see your lips moving, so it's going to be higher than 2.
I'm right there with you. I would have said 3 or 4.
He
but
had
I'm
900.
Yeah, 151, 199, 132, 169, 140, 162, 147, 138, 186.
But this dude from the Commanders is really good at defense, though, right? There's no way.
Dan Quinn?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
they're
one
not
of the
going to
best
let
that's ever
Saquon Barkley run for 128 yards.
I mean, that was the Rams were like all about letting Jalen Hurts beat them and stopping Barkley. But the problem is they stopped him except for 2 runs, which equated for almost half their offense.
You take away, and he had these runs. I'm not saying, but I mean, you trip him up at the line of scrimmage on 2 runs, and he didn't even have 100 yards rushing against you guys. What do you have?
No, not even close. And
they kept saying that in the broadcast, LT, and then on both of those runs, y'all didn't do what you'd done on every other play. Y'all did some exotic blitz, and they tagged you both times. It was like, he's got this great defensive plan. He's got this great defensive plan to take Barkley out.
Well, I can tell you this.
Here's
okay,
what
Barkley
happened.
in 19
they
games,
blitzed.
including the postseason, how many do you think he's gone over 128.5?
In 19 games?
Yep.
3. I'll stick with 3.
I'll stick with 2. Your lips are moving again. It's higher than 2.
It's 8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay, so it happens more often than we think.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
Hey, by the way, on his, you did not bring this up, to your credit, but on that last touchdown run that I thought sealed the game, I mean, ultimately it did, but the Rams had a chance.
I did too.
If I were a Rams fan, I would have wanted a hold at the point of attack right there in the hole.
It was a hole.
That was a big hole right there.
Screaming at the top of my lungs.
Yeah. I even screamed.
Yeah,
there's a hole.
But back to it.
I thought it was pretty
not
obvious.
even on replay. I screamed in real time.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's coming back. And then he's running. The crowd's going nuts. I'm like, there's no flag there.
Yeah.
And then when they showed the replay, I thought it was a clear hold.
Game played out exactly how I wanted it to. 1 possession,
I know.
ball in hand. That's all you want.
Buffalo getting to Kansas City, a 2-point favorite, 5:30 CBS this weekend.
So you love Buffalo, right?
I love Buffalo. And
Good,
Buffalo's
thank
trying to
goodness.
go back. Trying to go back to the Super Bowl for the first time since they lost 4 straight. They haven't been back to the Super Bowl.
Does anybody like the Commanders here to win the game?
I like Commanders too.
I got
I would
Commanders
be
and
really
Chiefs.
surprised Commanders win.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be my friend Ted, who's a lifelong Bills fan, lives up in Maine now, does weather. Used to
Ted
come on the show.
McInerney,
Ted
right?
McInerney, yeah, when he worked here locally.
Teddy Tornado, we call him.
Lifelong Bills fan, family's lifelong, generational Bills fan. He texted me before last week's game. He goes, "How do you feel about the games?" I said, truthfully, I feel like Bills Rams are going to be your Super Bowl. And now the Commanders have just slid in place of them for me. So.
Honestly, when I went into Sunday night's game, I felt like I was watching the Super Bowl winner, Baltimore or Buffalo. Honestly, when I watched that game,
I think I told him that.
But now that I'm on the other side of it, I don't feel as confident about that. I don't know why.
I guess
because you got to go to Kansas
If you
City.
can't log online to your account this weekend, I'll give you no juice if you want to play those sides with me.
Okay.
Okay.
No juice.
So you see, okay. I'm in.
All right. I see what you're saying. I think I said the same thing to him. I think I said whoever wins the Bills-Ravens game is going to win the Super Bowl.
It did feel like the Super Bowl going into it.
It feels different now.
Yeah.
Enjoy the games on Sunday. Enjoy basketball on Saturday. Don't forget you get a Bama and Bourbon. It is out now with Aaron Suttles and LT. You can go get that and enjoy some Alabama conversation before basketball starts tomorrow. And then Taylor Corn will be down for game day at Auburn. I'll be in Tuscaloosa. She'll be at Auburn. Both those games go at 7:30. We'll have post-game afterwards. A new basketball show is out now. If you want to go watch that on our video platforms to get ready for the games. And we're back with you on Monday to talk about everything. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.